Yo, it's your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, back at you with a new video. Today is Tuesday, October 24th, 2023, with your boy Ryan and the Northwest Sports Fanatics. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Smash that like button either now or on your way out. Donate to your boy if you can. Cash App $ORIONNWSF or the YouTube Super Chat right here. We got the NLCS game number 7, Arizona Diamondbacks versus the Philadelphia Phillies, with a berth to the World Series on the line. The Rangers ended up advancing over the Astros last night, so we're going to get the Rangers versus who? Is it going to be the Diamondbacks on the road, the underdog team in the MLB playoffs, or are we going to get the favorite team at home, finding a way to get the job done with the Philadelphia Phillies? Let's get into the thumbnail, and then let's also get into the starting lineups. And on the thumb, you already know what it is. On the left, we got Corbin Carroll. And on the right, we got Bryce Harper. And both of these guys are going to have a magnificent performance for that team to advance to the World Series against the Texas Rangers. All right, let's get into the starting lineups. Starting off with the Arizona Diamondbacks, leading off at second base, Ketel Marte. Batting second, playing center field, that's stud Corbin Carroll. Batting third, catching tonight for Arizona, Gabriel Moreno. Batting cleanup and batting fourth, first baseman Christian Walker. Batting fifth, playing right field tonight, Tommy Pham. Batting sixth, playing left field, Lourdes Gurriel Jr. Batting seventh, DHing tonight for the Diamondbacks, Evan Longoria. Batting eighth, playing third base tonight, Emmanuel Rivera. And batting ninth, playing shortstop for the Diamondbacks, Geraldo Perdomo. And on the mound for the Diamondbacks, Brandon Pfaadt. Let's go, baby. Should be an epic matchup. And let's go to the home Philadelphia Phillies. Leading off for the Phillies, DHing Kyle Schwarber. Will we see a Schwarber bomb tonight? Could be. Batting second, playing shortstop, Trey Turner. Batting third, first baseman, you know who it is, Bryce Harper. Playing cleanup and batting fourth, third baseman, Alec Bohm. Batting fifth, playing second base, Bryson Stott. Batting sixth, catching tonight for Philadelphia, JT Realmuto. Batting seventh, playing right field, Nick Castellanos. Batting eighth, playing left field with the best beard in Major League Baseball, Brendan Marsh. And batting ninth, playing center field, Johan Rojas. And on the mound for the Phillies, Ranger Suarez. Oh, baby, this should be a good one. Let's go. And we got the debut of the NBA as well with a doubleheader. Lots of NHL action as well. So I'm going to be, obviously following this. We'll follow a little bit of the NBA as well, since it is the debut. Right now we got the Nuggets and the Lakers. And then after that, we're going to have the Suns and the Warriors. Kraken play here in a few minutes as well. I'm going to try to watch as many things as I can. And shout out to my boy Prayer Man for donating a 30 spot even before the stream started. A big Eagles fan. Appreciate you. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $30 holla. 70 to go to hit the initial goal, and then we'll go from there. Thank you so much, Prayer Man. We'll get some photos of some Eagle players up here before we get into the action. Thank you so much, Prayer Man. Anytime we can get donos before the stream starts or in the first 30 minutes, that really does set the tone for us for the rest of the stream. So shout out to you, brother. Daniel in the building, what it do? Padilla in the building, what it do? LG22. Oh, man, like I said, I felt that the only way that the Rangers were going to get to the World Series, and I said this before this series even started for the ALCS, is that they would have to go 2-0 and win the first 2 games in Houston, and they did. Now, did I predict that the Rangers were going to lose the next 3 and then have to win the last 2 to get to the World Series? No, but the Rangers were the hottest team, and they were one of the only teams to go all wins on the road. Normally in the playoffs, you don't see that. Usually it's like home field advantage, right? So in the American League, the road teams are winning everything. In the National League, it's been mostly the home teams. So, I felt that if the Phillies were going to advance, the best opportunity for them would have been in Game 6. You had the crowd there, but it also shows you that the Diamondbacks, even though they were, 4th out of 4 teams left based off power rankings, I think most of us probably had Phillies 1, Astros 2, or Rangers 2, Astros 3, and then maybe Diamondbacks 4. But I think we're starting to realize that the Diamondbacks can win this. And then there's one thing that I want to bring up, okay? Every team that has played against the Milwaukee Brewers in the last 15 years, right? Whoever has beaten them in the playoffs has advanced to the World Series. Who played the Milwaukee Brewers this year? The Arizona Diamondbacks. So is history going to repeat itself, or are we going to get something different with the Philadelphia Phillies playing at home, which they should be able to win in front of their home crowd? So really the only way for me to think that the Diamondbacks are going to win this game is if they get off to a fast start and score 3 runs, or 1 to 3 runs within the first 4 innings. If that happens, the Diamondbacks have a very good chance to win Game 7 like they won Game 6. But if I'm going to, kind of go with my gut, I would have to assume that the Phillies will win at home in front of their crowd. You can't lose 2 games, Game 6 and Game 7, thinking that you're going to be able to, go to the World Series, let alone the Rangers look very, very hot. So if it ends up being Rangers and Diamondbacks, I would assume that we would say Rangers. If it goes Rangers-Phillies, it's dead even, 50-50. I could see it going either way. So Philadelphia better hope that they get this dub, because this is your last chance, and you might have lost your chance by not getting the job done in Game 6. But my gut tells me, even though with that Brewers stat, just like with the Vikings not, taking care of business at home against the Niners, most people would have saw that game and said, well, the Vikings only have like 2 wins. The Niners are 5-1. But history told us the Niners struggle on the road in Minnesota for whatever reason, and they had Debo and Trent Williams out, and that was good enough, to get the dub. So I'm not really too sure where we're going to go with that, but I would have to assume that Philadelphia is going to win tonight. Let me turn this up. All right, baby, let's go. Padilla with the dollar. Appreciate you very, very much. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. Let me know what you want to see for photos. If you got a favorite player, past or present. Once we get to the commercial break, I'll hook up you with a photo or 2. So I appreciate you very, very much. Padilla's got some good stats here. He said, 0 for 8 in Phillies loss. He's going to have a big night. Well, we better hope that he does, because if he doesn't have a big night, now obviously having Zach Wheeler pitching right now would have been something that I would have done instead of having Ranger Suarez. But again, I don't think anyone thought that this was going to go 7 games. I don't think anyone thought. I thought for sure Phillies in 6, Phillies in 5. And then maybe Phillies in 7. But I didn't even really think this was going to go 7 games. So give credit to the Diamondbacks on how good they've pitched and how good they've played, and also how good they've played on the road. I think that's one thing that we're not really bringing up too much. We're just assuming that the Diamondbacks aren't that good. But anytime you get to the Final Four ALCS, NLCS, you as long as you don't get swept, you're pretty good. Now, if you end up losing in 4-1, then people can say, see, I told you so. This was a weak team. But the Diamondbacks have forced game 7, just like with the Astros and the Rangers. That one I assumed was going to go 7, not this series. 1-2 pitch, low in the dirt, 2-2 count. I'm not too sure. We already know Zach Wheeler and Aaron Nola are kind of the top dogs, but I'm not really sure with this Suarez, strategy. Hopefully it works out if you are a Phillies fan. Big swing and a miss. Got him. There we go. Good start for them. And the crowd is going to be definitely heavily involved. And we have to understand, that the Philadelphia Phillies have the best crowd in baseball, 100%. And that's why I was very shocked they didn't get the job done in game 6. But when you get 3 runs knocked on you early, that definitely takes you out of the game. Next up for the Diamondbacks, center fielder stud Corbin Carroll. And for them to be able to win this game, you're going to have Marte, Carroll, Walker have big, big nights. And obviously Brendan Pfaadt is going to have to play phenomenal as well. Little chopper. Tough play, and Corbin Carroll with a single. Not surprised. The guy's a fucking stud. He's the Julio Rodriguez for the Diamondbacks for my Mariners. Like an Adley Rushman. For the Orioles, like each team kind of has that superstar player that might be young, and maybe people don't realize how really good Corbin Carroll is. And obviously, being a Mariner fan, Ketel Marte, former Mariner, Corbin Carroll from Seattle, and Paul Sewald obviously was on the Mariners. So, there's a part of me that is rooting for the Diamondbacks, to kind of get the upset. But the other part of me is like, man, I want the Phillies to go because I really like calling their games. I like Bryce Harper a lot, and I think that they have a better chance to compete with the Rangers, where I literally think it's 50-50. If it ends up being Diamondbacks-Rangers, it'll probably be Rangers in 6. I think it'll be much easier for them, even though the Diamondbacks have played them pretty good throughout the season. Appreciate you very, very much. Derpy says Rangers, Diamondbacks. I guess it depends if you're a Rangers fan. I mean, if you're a Rangers fan, I guess assume you want the easiest way to win a championship. But the thing is what happens if it ends up being Rangers, Diamondbacks, and then the Diamondbacks win it all? I mean, you got to think if you're already in this position in Game 7, it's an eyebrow and an eye opener. Like, this team is not going away. So we'll see. Much love too. I appreciate you. Let's have a fun night. Comment below to everyone in the chat right now before we have any runs who we think is going to win or who you're going for tonight. So that way I can kind of get a gauge of what you guys are thinking. And obviously who you think that's going to win and who you're rooting for, maybe 2 different teams. Russell Wilson, Super Bowl pick. Okay, I got you. Another base hit, see? And that's the thing. If the Diamondbacks get hits early and often, and like I said, the magic number is going to be 3. 1 to 3 runs within the first 1 to 3 innings, maybe 4th inning. And if you can get, runs early, that gets the crowd out of the game, just like in the NFL or in college football. You got this big, big matchup. The crowd is crazy. Philadelphia has got some of the best fans in MLB, right? But how do you shut that crowd up? Either a monster home run, but if you can't get that, just dink and doink. Kind of like in the NFL when you do little screen passes, a little bit here, a little bit there, a little bloop single here, another single here, an RBI here, an RBI there, and that might be enough to kind of set the tone. But again, like I said, remember, history tends to repeat itself. Now, history is meant to be broken, but history tends to repeat itself. And I know for Phillies fans, it would be fucking crushing, soul crushing to lose Game 6 and Game 7 against an opponent you feel you're better than, right? But again, every team that the Brewers have faced in the last 15 years in the playoffs when they've made it, right? That eventual team that has beaten the Brewers has made it to the World Series every single time. I don't know what the hell that means, but the Diamondbacks were the team to beat them. And throw to second, safe at first. 1-0 Diamondbacks. And just like that, Corbin Carroll comes home. Trouble early, And like I said, sometimes, you have this favored team. Phillies might have blown their chance of going to the World Series by not closing it out in game 6 because now Uncle Mo and the momentum is going to be in Arizona's favor. They play very good on the road. They believe that they can win. And they also have that Brewers, not curse, but that Brewers stat behind them. Every time someone has beaten the Brewers in the playoffs, that team has advanced to the World Series every single time. So that's a lot. I mean, I know sometimes that sounds crazy, you know what I mean? But look at the Vikings and Niners last night. The Niners don't play the Vikings well, and a lot of people had that feeling that maybe this is a trap game. Injuries at Debo and Trent Williams. Brock Purdy didn't play a very good game. So if you don't dig into the stats, you would have bet on the Niners, right? But if you would have actually looked through history, noticing that whatever reason, the 49ers don't play well in Minnesota in the Dome, and that goes over in the last 20 years. So I'm not really sure if we're going to get something like that today, but it's already 1-0. So you got to give the Diamondbacks a little credit there. Yeah, Rangers have the ability to win it all. Absolutely, we've seen that. But you could have said the same thing with the Astros if they would have won Game 7 also. The teams in the American League, been there, done that. They got the experience. And obviously the X factor is Bochy. With all those, championships with the San Francisco Giants. Got him. 1-0, though. All right, let's get a couple photos up here real quickly. First, let me start off with Prayer Man's photos. And he's not in the room, but still, I want to make sure that we're showing proper love for people that are even donating, even before the stream starts, just showing that love and appreciation for the reaction videos that I do, as well as the coverage that I have on the NFL and specifically the Eagles. So appreciate you, Prayer Man, very, very much. And I'll get a few more as we sprinkle through some of the commercials. Shout out to you, Prayer Man. And then let's go through here. And Badia wanted some Russell Wilson. I got you. I got you, bro. Got another one for you, too. Got to hit you with the confetti as well, right? Close up of that Lombardi. And obviously with the confetti. I got you, bro. Appreciate you. Thank you so much for your support to the channel. 1-0 Diamondbacks, not exactly what you wanted to see out of the Philadelphia Phillies. But again, in Game 7, Ranger Suarez, is that really who you wanted to start off the game? Why not Zach Wheeler? Go with your best pitcher to start off the game. So if that ends up biting them, then that decision of starting Ranger Suarez will be the reason why that the Diamondbacks advance to the World Series. And honestly, we always thought, okay, the Diamondbacks are the worst team out of the 4. What happens if the Diamondbacks win it all? I know it's crazy, but the Cinderella story typically ends in the ALCS, NLCS, or the World Series like it did with the Phillies. The stronger team typically wins. So what would that mean then? That the Rangers are going to be World Series champs this year? Most likely. All right, leading off for the Phillies, you already know who it is. DHing for Philadelphia, Kyle Schwarber. Will we see some Schwarber bombs? Philly fans better hope so. Next up after him, batting second in the lineup, shortstop Trey Turner. And batting third, first baseman, stud Bryce Harper. So if they're going to end up winning, you would think you're going to have to get contributions from Schwarber, Turner, and Harper. But for me, it's going to be for the guys that aren't really talked about. Bohm, Stott, Realmuto, Marsh, Rojas. That's going to be more important for Philadelphia. You already know Schwarber can do big things. Turner, Harper, and Castellanos, right? So I already know that. But what about Bohm, Stott, Realmuto, Marsh, and Rojas. If those guys get going, Philadelphia is going to win. If those guys don't, then I think they're going to lose. So we'll see how it plays out, but hopefully it ends up being a magical game. But it's already 1-0 Diamondbacks. Yeah, I wish the Mariners could build a team properly too. It shows you if you're the Philadelphia Phillies or the Texas Rangers and you spend money, yeah, Trey Turner might have been a little cold early on, but you already knew what you were getting from him with the Dodgers as a stud. Overall, one of the best overall players, offense, defense, the whole 9 yards in Trey Turner. But he did start off slow. But what is Trey usually known for? Getting hot in the playoffs as well as deeper into the NLCS, ALCS, or the World Series. And obviously with Bryce Harper, that was a very, very intelligent pick, to be able to get him from the Nats, and it's worked out very, very well. Yeah, Dusty's gone. He ain't coming back. But the big advantage I feel between these two teams and the Rangers, out of the three teams that are left, one team's got Bruce Bochy, the other two don't. And with his experience with Madison Bumgarner, Buster Posey, that was the number one. Everyone wants to talk about the free agents, getting Corey Seager, this and that. To me, it's not that. To me, it's the manager. It's the head guy, the mentor. And if they didn't have Bochy, they wouldn't be in this position. Hell, they probably wouldn't have even made the playoffs. I think Seattle would have taken their spot if Bochy wasn't there. To me, that is the most valuable piece on the Texas Rangers is the manager, Bruce Bochy. And I think that might be the reason why they win the World Series this year. Not that I wouldn't enjoy seeing the Diamondbacks as the Cinderella story or the Philadelphia Phillies. I mean, they already got heartbroken last year. You got to crawl before you walk, But again, down 1-0, they better hope these bats light up. Big swing and a miss. Yeah, I mean, if you're talking about one of the best manager pickups that has World Series experience, to me, that was one of the best pickups for any team in the last 25 years. I mean, look at it. They just brought him in, right? And he's already at the World Series in year one. I mean, how often could you bring in a guy that has won multiple World Series with the San Francisco Giants? Mad Bum, Buster Posey made those guys legends over the Dodgers, my dad's team since the 50s. And then all of a sudden here, we're going to bring you in and we're going to spend money and we're going to hope that we can get to the World Series within the first 3 years of your tenure, Bochy. And he does it in year one. So, that says enough for me. That speaks volumes. That was bigger than picking up, Seager or anybody else on that roster, in my opinion. Because that leadership and that intelligence, he gave them that swag and that confidence that they could, play with anybody in the American League, even the Houston Astros. And if they end up making it, that they, may be the favored team, going into the World Series. 2-2 pitch to Trey Turner. Let's see how Fat does. Oh, there's a down to 1 there. All right, Brandon, show us. Yeah, and you know what? It's kind of I'm torn a little bit too because I love underdog stories a lot. And the Diamondbacks to me are kind of like the Seattle Mariners. Like if we ever get to this point, we're going to be hated on as well. We're going to, you guys are good, but you're not good enough. And if we were in the same position, we would definitely, be the underdogs to either Texas or Houston. But I think that, sometimes, that Cinderella story ends. Maybe a game before you'd like it to, or a series before you'd like it to. But just like the Phillies, you were hot. But then that Cinderella story ended against a team that was better than you last year in the Houston Astros. But with this Diamondback team, it feels a little different. That is very true. LG. I agree. But they already had talent as well, besides Seager and picking him up. Like they had some, pieces there already in place. But obviously, getting Bochy, getting Seager, and a few others, it really has all come together for them. Anytime you can beat the fucking Astros, I mean, you're a real one. As a Mariner fan, we battle with the Rangers and we battle with the Astros all the time. So I'm very familiar, with those two teams. And, I cover a lot of the National League as well. So it's not like, I'm not familiar with Corbin Carroll, Seawald, Ketel Marte, and a lot of these guys as well. Big swing and a miss on Bryce Harper. But if we're really talking about a Cinderella story, LG, I mean, if we're going based off power rankings before the ALCS and the NLCS started, no one had the Diamondbacks in the top three. They were all saying that this is the worst team out of the four teams left. And apparently, maybe they're not. Maybe they're not the worst team out of the four. Maybe they shouldn't have been ranked 4 out of 4. They're very confident and they're playing good ball right now. But I didn't hear one person saying, oh, the Diamondbacks are the best team out of the 4 teams left, or anyone that thought that they could actually beat the Phillies. Pitches outside, 3-2 count. Three-two pitch. Got him. Man, Fat is pitching good. Wow, Brandon? And again, that's how you end up beating the Phillies. You have to score early and you have to score often. And again, that's how they were able to get the crowd out of the game yesterday or the day before when they ended up winning game 6, right? They ended up putting up 3 runs right out of the gates and it kind of like shook them up a little bit. Yeah, they ended up getting it to 3-1, but a couple innings later, but still 3-0 to 3-1 ain't going to cut it. You need to be able to get into that good rhythm, and they just weren't able to get enough hits and enough RBIs and homers, and I feel like that carryover effect of after losing game 6, that was your opportunity. And anytime you let a team hang around, it's not a good look. So I mean, it's still early, but unless we get some good run production, within the first 6 innings, this might be a Diamondback win, but still early. It's 1-0 Arizona. But I mean, again, when Philly usually does really, really well, it's not when they come back from behind. It's usually when they strike early, and they strike early, get a run to 3 runs within the first 4 innings. And then usually after the 4th inning, when they're hot, they strike again, either in the 6th or 7th or 8th with another 1, 2, 3, or 4 runs. And then by the time you get to the 8th inning, they already have 5, 6, 7 runs. I'm not really sure if we're going to get that type of game. And if Fat keeps pitching like this, it might end up being, like a 5-3 game or like a 4-2 game. I mean, we'll have to wait and see. But obviously, it meant a lot for Arizona to get going early like they did in game 6. And they're trying to use that same type of strategy. Get the crowd out of the game early, and all those drunk, individuals in Philly, you're not going to be hyped up when you see the score go from 1-0 to 2-0 to 3-0. Then that fear is creeping in that you have to hope for that special inning at some point in the game where you get 2, 3, 4 runs, and you may not get that tonight. This is going to be a good game. Megan in the building. How are you? Yes, I'm going to flip that on right now as well. I looked that up. And then tomorrow we got the NBA obviously debuting, tonight also. So you got a couple games there with a lot of NHL action also. But we got Lakers and Nuggets, and then later on you're going to have Suns and Warriors. And then tomorrow's stream, we're going to do the Blazers and the Clippers. So I got access to the Root Sports Plus, even though they had to upgrade everyone's package. I pay more money to be able to watch the Blazers, and my buddy ended up upgrading the package. I have access to everything. So tomorrow's stream, we'll do Clippers and Blazers. Not really sure if the Blazers are going to do that well this season. I think if we can get off to a fast start, there is a chance for us to get a 7 or 8 seed, but it's going to be tough. The West is very competitive. Uh-oh. Another base hit. This is not a good look. Not a good look for Ranger Suarez. Lourdes Gurriel Jr. And like I said, I don't like the fact that they did not start Zach Wheeler in Game 7. So that simple fact alone that might be it. You got to make sure you have your best pitcher pitch in Game 7. It's like, when the Dodgers had an opportunity when they were one of the best teams in Major League Baseball, it's like if you're going to go with a Clayton Kershaw or whoever it is, you got to make sure you're going with your best. You don't want to have them come in as a closer or a mid reliever, even if it's on short rest. Your best pitcher is going to do better on short rest than having another guy that isn't your best pitcher starting the game out. Uh-oh. Popped up. One away. Nothing for Longoria there. Next up, third baseman Emmanuel Rivera. Yeah, and like I said, for me, a lot of times, I stick with history, and history tends to repeat itself. So even though the Phillies have home field advantage and most teams have been able to get it done, and the American League team with the Rangers were able to win on the road, but one of the best teams on the road this season has been the Diamondbacks. I mean, they've been really good. So I feel they're not afraid of the big moment. They got a superstar in Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Walker. They got a lot of guys that are not afraid of this big moment. And I don't like the fact that Ranger Suarez started the game. I really don't. And, every team that's played the Brewers in the last 15 to 20 years in the playoffs, if you've beaten them, that team has advanced to the World Series every single time. And who beat the Brewers this year? The Arizona Diamondbacks. So another piece kind of leaning towards Arizona, even though there are, they are on the road instead of being, the home Philadelphia Phillies. All right, let me get that Kraken game on here as well. I'll watch it with you. Playing against the Red Wings too. And then if there's any updates on the NBA, just let me know. And then obviously I can throw that up there as well. Safe at second. Things are not going good in Philadelphia. Sarah with $1. Appreciate you. Thank you so much. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $1 holla. Let me know what you want to do for photos during the commercial break, and I got you. 32-68 to go. And I got it on, Megan. I'm watching with you. 0-0. Got about 13 minutes left in that first period, so I'll be watching at the same time. And then once we get further along, I will turn on the NBA game with the Suns later on here. What is it going to be in about an hour and a half? So around 7 o'clock or 7:30 when that next NBA comes on, give me a reminder, and I'll flip that on as well. Megan with a $5. We got to get the Kraken dub, don't we? Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $5 holla. Appreciate you. I can get some Kraken photos up here for you as well. Popped up. 2 away. Defend the deep. Well, we assume that Denver is going to be better than the Lakers. Like I said, the Lakers have got LeBron and AD and whatnot, but the Nuggets, to me, I wouldn't be shocked if we get a Nuggets-Bucks final, where we get the Joker and Giannis. I mean, the Joker is, arguably the best player in the world. He was last year, and when Giannis is healthy, he's right there with him, but even though the Joker, doesn't have the most ideal body shape, he's not ripped. He's not going to be doing a bunch of fucking windmill dunks like Giannis. Giannis is a little bit more maybe likable, as far as like looking as an athlete. But the Joker is a triple-double machine, and there's not very many people that can match up to him game in and game out. And another thing, too, is Jamal Murray is severely underrated, and that team is very well coached. So I wouldn't be shocked if we end up getting the Nuggets back, in the Western Conference Finals, or if they end up making the finals against the Bucks, the Celtics, or another team in the East. I saw a little fight there break out there, Megan, with the Kraken and the Red Wings. Perdomo, chopped foul. Yeah, the Nuggets are. I mean, to me, like I said, the Nuggets have the best chance to be a number one or number two seed. I mean, as long as the Joker is in his prime, and they got all those Michael Porter Jr. and they got Jamal Murray. They're very well rounded. And like I said, the Joker is almost impossible to defend. Like the only ways you typically beat them is if he gets in foul trouble. Throw to first, got him. Good. That was very good there by Philadelphia getting out of that inning. You don't want to go down 2-0 or 3-0 there. What color he's wearing? Of what? As far as his tie? Is it the tie that he's wearing for today's game? Sounds like he's going to end up joining the staff. And I can think of a better team for him to join than the team that he played with last, right? That would make sense. So let me get that up there for you. I mean, he might have other opportunities to be like a coach, somewhere else. But I think that he would be appreciated the most, there. So I hope that he is smart enough to go there. Go back home. Hell, I think Cardinals fans are like fucking come out of retirement and be our catcher. We need help because obviously we already know what happened with that Cubs experiment, and that did not work. That did not work after Molina left. We saw what happened, and it did not work. There's a couple of your Wayno and Yachty there. I know you have good memories there. Appreciate you, Sarah. And let's get a couple cracking up here as well. Appreciate all the support with all the donos. Your boy works very, very hard every day. We've had a kind of a little bit of a wet weather day. It's been raining all day, but I did get an hour walk in with Paisley early this morning around 7, 8 a.m. And then we got kind of sprinkled on around noon, 1 o'clock. And then we went for another walk. And then I got to wait till after this is over. And it's pretty much raining all day, but hopefully we can have a little bit of a break so that way that I can get a little bit more exercise in. I'm addicted to exercise. A lot of people have addictions to alcohol and other things, but once you actually get the bug from working out, it definitely helps. Really good for the mental health. And I had to throw a little Maddie up there for you too. I got another up here for you as well. Appreciate you. Go Kraken. Release the Kraken, baby. I got to get a little bit of audio here. You guys can't hear it on your end. And obviously, I'm linked in through Xfinity on TBS.com to be able to watch the NLCS Game 7. And then obviously, I got a link here for the Kraken and the Red Wings. Let's go, Kraken. All right, we're going back to the game. I got to mute this, go back to this one, turn the volume up. Bottom of the second we go. Yeah, we're not very good this season. Uh-oh. Uh-oh, Alec Bohm, back on, baby. That's what the Phillies needed. See, and what did I say at the beginning of the broadcast? It wasn't necessarily going to be Schwarber or Turner or Harper. What did I say? I said it's going to be guys like Alec Bohm, Bryson Stott, JT Realmuto, Brandon Marsh, right? And Johan Rojas. And on cue, there it is. The guy that started off the third baseman, underrated stud, Alec Bohm, baby. There we go. Nice electricity to get that Philly crowd going, baby. Let's go. Nice job, Alec. He's kind of like Eugenio Suarez at third, never gets credit, but we know that he's a pretty damn good player. Nice job. Next up for the Phillies, second baseman Bryson Stott. Stott popped up. There we go to the warning track for Corbin Carroll, one away. There we go, Philly. Philly fans can now breathe a little bit easier because if they didn't get their first run until like the fifth or sixth inning, they were going to lose this game. So good for them to be able to get that home run and get that action going. And he said, I'm trying to get that, trying to get the ring, baby. All right, JT Realmuto in the box. Pitches outside. 1-0 count. And anytime if I'm on the microphone, and I know a lot of people don't say anything because maybe they don't notice a difference, but when I do streams, through the microphone and the calibrations, if it ever sounds like there's an echo where I sound kind of faded and far away, the microphones need to be recalibrated. So anytime if the microphones kind of sound a little off, if my voice sounds a little off, compared to other streams or reaction videos, let me know. So that way I can recalibrate that on the fly while I'm actually producing the show. Because the last thing I hate being able to go back after the stream is over and I go back and click on the stream and then I find that the microphones are fucked up and then it doesn't sound good. So I know some people can't tell the difference, but I can always tell the difference when the microphones are linked and synced properly or if they need to be calibrated again. So as long as my voice sounds normal and there's not an echo. But the first tall tale sign is going to be an echo in my voice, and that means that the microphones need to be readjusted. And I usually unplug and plug in and unplug my microphones on every stream, and I even do tests before I stream. But even when that's being done, sometimes when you actually start the live stream, for whatever reason, things get uncalibrated for whatever reason. So let me know. But I think we're good. And then we had that issue with StreamYard about a week ago when I was doing one of the matchups in the ALCS or NLCS where the audio and video had issues. And they sent me an email later apologizing that their microphone that I had synced up, they had an error or some kind of issue. So when I was streaming and that big echo, that was me streaming based off just the iMac, speakers and the iMac, obviously audio, which is not going to be the same as me with these microphones. Big swing and a miss. 0-2 count to Castellanos. Oh for 19 since the home run in game 1 of the NLCS. He's due. Joey D in goal again. Well, as long as Joey D is in goal again and as long as he does a good job and we have people that can score, we'll be fine. I mean, I don't really care who's in goal, as long as they can hold it to 2 goals or less. And if they can do that, we should at some point be able to get 2 or more goals. Most NHL teams, typically can. So. I think you're in the same boat too. It's like we like Grew, but again, if Grew's out there and he's getting his ass kicked, or if he's doing really, really well, but we have no support, getting goals and playing good in the power play, or we're not being aggressive, like we just need to be able to put the best lineup out there, whoever it is. If that ends up being, Grew, good. If it ends up being Joey, good. But we just need to be able to score. Like I said, we haven't been able to score goals really at all. So it's like we need to be able to get more than 2. Getting 1 or 2 goals in the NHL isn't good enough. Like you got to be able to hit 3, 4, 5 goals at least a little bit. End of the second inning, 1-1. Diamondbacks and Phillies knotted up. All right, I got to get a little audio with the Kraken. Colts game. That's going to be exciting. Hopefully they end up playing well. It would have been a lot better if AR was, not injured, right? And stuff, so that way you could actually get a chance, because it's not like you're going to be going to that many games that often, but it should still be fun. Kraken 0, Red Wings 0. 8 minutes to go in the first period. Come on, Kraken. And our record right now, Megan, is 1-4-1, correct? Not good. Not good. Like I understand slow starts, like when you're an expansion team. Then we ended up having our, magical year last year, and we played better than people anticipated, made the playoffs, beat the Colorado Avalanche in Game 7, and then lost to the Dallas Stars, right? But I feel like, golly, it's like you brought in Kyler Yamamoto. It's like, we have had a few injuries, but with that being said, we just haven't started off on a good note. Like I figured that we would be at least 500. I knew we were going to lose that first game to the Vegas Golden Knights, in Vegas, because they're one of the best teams in the NHL. So I knew that was going to be a difficult game. But after that, I thought we would be able to at least kind of hang around, and I was hoping that we would be like 2-2. Not good, not great, not elite, but not fucking terrible. And I don't like seeing us being one of the bottom 6 teams in the NHL. We need to get something going. We need to figure out different line changes. We need to be more aggressive. We need to be better in the power play. We need better goalie work, and we just need people to be able to score goals, period. All right, I'm going to volume and hit the mute on this. And we'll get back into, hold up here, put this in theater mode. All right, there we go, so I can still watch. And let's get back into the action. Ketel Marte, former Mariner. And we have obviously Mariner ties here as well. A lot of Mariners are going for the Diamondbacks, just for the sole purpose. You can't really root for the Rangers or the Astros, really, if you're a Mariner fan. And then on top of that, Ketel Marte, former Mariner, Paul Sewald, former Mariner, Corbin Carroll, all-star stud from Seattle. So there is a lot of connections there, from the Diamondbacks. And they're kind of like the Mariners, like an underdog. So we always like to root for each other. And I like rooting for underdogs. But also, I like, elite teams like Philadelphia too. I like crowd energy, and they got some of the best crowd energy in Major League Baseball. Arguably, they got the loudest fans in MLB. Marte, 2-2 count. Yeah, it's funny too. Like little chopper towards third. A lot of times in fantasy, right? You can wait during the wire and then you can make a swap, right? But when you're really pissed at a piece, you drop them. And like I had to drop Buffalo Bill D. Maher just got cut by the Rams. If someone picks him up, he actually did really well. He had 2 bad games, and he ended up getting a 2 and a 2, but he ended up missing 2 field goals and an extra point, and that would have been the difference in tying the game up this past weekend. But he was like the second or third ranked kicker. But sometimes, when things happen, either they do good or some kind of thing happens where you get cut. Sometimes, you try to like teach that player or whatever a lesson, and you just let them go, and it's like you're kind of spiteful. You kind of hold a grudge, and I don't like to hold a grudge necessarily. Nice punch at, but I get to the point where I'm like, fuck this, and I'll just drop them. And the normal thing to most people do, they wait, even if they're pissed off at a piece. But for me, I don't have a problem just being like, all right, fuck this. I'll let them go. And if they're on the wire and then someone else wants to pick them up, fine, that piece is there. But I had to make some moves, and sometimes you have to do that. And I dropped Maher, Wilson, and Bills D. And like I said, the Bills D started off really strong, but they've been absolute dog shit since Milano and Tre'Davious White, got hurt. So I can't trust them anymore. So I got the Jets D. I'll pick up another D, and I'll just keep bouncing around with kickers and defense. And like I said, I like to be able to have one that I can stick with. But as you know, in fantasy, sometimes the matchups are tough. And so if you just have one defense all year and one kicker all year, you're going to lose a lot. You have to be able to make those changes week in and week out. So. Oh, baby. Corbin Carroll. Yeah. Let's go, Corbin. Let's go, baby. Telling y'all, this is the Julio Rodriguez of the Diamondbacks. Just like Adley Rutschman for the Baltimore Orioles. Every team, has got like a guy that could end up being like the face of the franchise. Corbin Carroll is uber special, just like Julio Rodriguez. Like, like I said, you already knew that he was different, when they actually took first place from the Dodgers in the regular season, even if it was only for a couple weeks. That was that first eye opener that maybe the Diamondbacks are for real and maybe the Dodgers are frauds. And maybe that, the injuries are going to pile up for Los Angeles at the end of the year, which they did. And, that was kind of a, tall tale sign that, oh, maybe Corbin Carroll is better than we're giving him credit for. And the answer is he is. Throw to first. Someone's heart is going to get ripped out. So Jordan Walker. Jordan Walker is an up and coming prospect, but I don't think he's as good as like a Corbin Carroll or a Julio just yet. But he's showing potential that maybe in a few years he'll be on that Nolan Arenado, Paul Goldschmidt level. Now he started to break out, and then they fucking sent him to AAA, which was stupid. Uh oh. Safe. Wow, that throw was high. If he had a good throw right there, they would have got him. But I think that he was a good player, but he's just not on the level of a Corbin Carroll or Julio Rodriguez yet. I'm not saying that he won't, but if they wouldn't have played around with him and sent him down, who knows how many more extra home runs and RBIs he could have got with that team. So, but I think he does have a lot of potential. I don't think he's a shitty player. I mean, the part of the reason that I went up to Seattle with my, my boy, Duffel Bag Boys, with me and Jay Graves, we wanted to go see the Cardinals because we wanted to see Goldschmidt, Arenado, and I love being able to peep guys early in the career, like when I got to see Bobby Witt Jr. and Julio in their rookie year when I got my Julio ball, and I wanted to see Jordan Walker, and luckily I got to see him before they sent him down. So I like seeing guys that are rookies and second-year players before they break out. Yeah, Julio Jones, Julio Rodriguez. Yeah, I figured that's what you meant. Keep me updated, Padilla, with the Laker game. Let me know what's going on there. Let me know how LeBron's playing, AD. Let me know how things are going in the NBA matchups. I am going to be doing NBA, obviously, this season in some college hoops. But again, when we have games like this, like Game 7, I have a lot of things that I could do. Like I could have done the Kraken today. I could have did the NBA. But I mean, I guess it just depends on, what you love the most. And, NFL, college football, and wrestling are always going to be at the top for me. But then below that, I really have a lot of love for the MLB. I do occasionally, like to be able to watch NASCAR, NHL as well. And so NBA to me right now is kind of on the bottom of the pecking order, but I still have interest, and I will be doing the Blazer game tomorrow. So I'll be suited and booted. You'll see me with the Supreme headband on. You'll see me with the or either that or the Blazer headband. I'll have the Blazer jerseys on. I'll be ready to go. I don't have a Scoot Henderson jersey just yet, but if I am going to end up getting one, that'll be the one that I buy. 2-2 pitch. Chopper to Turner. 2 away. Yeah, it's like Austin Reeves too. I think a lot of people just thought that this guy's not that good. The guy's great, for a role player. It's just like what? Because he's white, he's Caucasian, he's not a brother, so you got to talk shit or whatever. Like I feel like guys like that. LeBron loves guys like that. It don't matter if you're white or Asian or Mexican or black. Like if you can play, that's what matters. But the national perception of certain guys, it's like, oh, this guy sucks or he's not that good. Well, obviously they don't really watch Laker games or they don't watch Austin Reeves, And there's been a few comments, from some of these guys that, that Reeves, they think he's capped out and he's not going to get that much better. But if I see a guy that can do 15 to 25 a game, and get you 5 to 10 boards, 5 to 10 assists, that's pretty good, especially on the NBA level. And we've seen, Reeves carry that team at times, when certain guys get in foul trouble like AD or LeBron. It's either you watch the games or you're a hater and you don't. And you just have this like perception of a player, regardless of race or whatever it is. But I do like Reeves. I don't know how good the Lakers are going to do. The West is very, very deep. But I do know with the Blazers, we're young. We got Scoot, we got Anthony Simons, we got Shaden Sharp. We still got some of the pieces there, and we got DeAndre Ayton from the Suns. So even though we don't got Dame Dalla anymore or Nurkic, I kind of like, and we still have Grant there as well. So I feel that the roster is a nice blend of young and old, even though we're really young. And we might end up being the 9th or the 10th team in the West. But I think if Scoot ends up playing really well, we might be able to hit the 7 or 8 seed if we overachieve and it all comes together. Not saying that the Blazers are going to win a championship anytime soon. That's not going to happen. But I think this is the first year in about 10 or 15 years where I think Blazer fans are genuinely excited, like as far as the roster depth. Like this is the best team that we've had since that year that we ended up overachieving and going to the Western Conference Finals when we had the best bench in the NBA, and then we got swept by the Warriors a few years ago. So still 0-0 with the Red Wings and the Kraken. All right, I'm going to take a little peek with the NBA game here. I'm going to flip around. Can someone put in the stat line for me in the chat of like the star players that are playing? Like, what's the stat line look like for the best players? Like, can someone give me the Joker stat line or like LeBron or Anthony Davis's stat line? All right, I got it on right now. 66-58 Denver. Yeah, the only problem with the Clippers, though, is they're cursed. It's like the Chargers. It's like every year they have good players and they have names, but they just can't get it done in the postseason. It's like you have good players, some maybe Hall of Fame players, but it's just like I don't know what it is about the Clippers. It's just like, I've been watching them since the 80s, and obviously they had Danny Manning, Bo Kimball. They've had certain guys. And then when you see these teams, with like a Paul George, but it just seems that injuries always get the best of the Clippers. And I'm not sure if they're going to be able to ever win a championship. Do they have the talent to go far? Yeah, they typically have the talent, but I don't know what it is. If it's just like the curse of the NBA and the Clippers, but it just seems like whenever they have these high expectations, injuries or bad play, or they just have a bad matchup in the playoffs, the West is deep. It's hard to be able to advance in the West, as we know. So, but I will be doing the game tomorrow. Your Clippers, my Blazers. So we'll see if Rip City can get that dub. All right, 70-58 Denver. Braun with 10. We got Reeves, 8-7. A lot of people, don't understand, like, it's good to be well-rounded. You don't have to be the most famous player. You just want to be involved. Go to first. Got him. I mean, of course, it's awesome to look at the stat line, and you're like, oh, 30 points, 15 boards. But not everyone's got that skill set to do that, especially if you got other Hall of Fame players on the team or other players. But, I mean, if you could end up getting, 15 and 10, and help your team win, like a Reeves, that's huge. Role players are very, very big and instrumental in the success of an NBA team. Coaching, obviously your role players and specifically your bench. It's not always going to be your superstars. Reflect in the building. What's good? Watching a little bit of the Kraken, watching a little bit of the debut of the NBA with the Nuggets and Lakers. And then we got the Phillies and the Diamondbacks knotted up here at 1. And we got Schwarber in the box. It would be a nice time right now for a Schwarber bomb. Padilla, I appreciate you. 19, 11, and 5. I mean, the guy puts up stats faster than anybody. He just makes it look so effortless. Same thing with Giannis. But I think even with the Joker, because the Joker's got that body where he's like Gunther, Walter. It's like you see a guy, and he might be IC champion, but no one really wants to give credit because just based off the body, it's not like ripped. not it doesn't have a bunch of steroids, doesn't have that fit body. But sometimes that's the perception. You don't look like you can play or wrestle, and then all of a sudden you watch him in the ring or on the court, and you're like, oh wow. You're like, wow, this guy is much better than what he looks. He's well more round. He's got the intelligence and whatnot, and he knows how to pass. He's dangerous, man, and they got themselves a squad. Like I said, I would not be surprised if we end up getting a Bucks and a Nuggets, championship this year in the NBA Finals. Got him. There goes Schwarber. 2 away. Next up, shortstop Trey Turner. How are you doing, Reflect? Yeah. Plus, when there's so many things going on, I have to, watch as much as I can. So, even though I might not really personally give a big shit about like, Denver and the Lakers, I like to be able to see what's going on, So, and I like watching multiple things at once if I can, as long as, as long as everything with the internet and with all the TVs that I got can link and sync up, I'm good. A little bit of NBA, a little bit of Kraken against the Red Wings. Turner, chopper to third. Got him. End of the third inning. We're knotted up at 1. All right, let me go back to the Kraken here real quick. And we'll be doing Blazers tomorrow. End of the first. We're knotted up at 0 for the Kraken. Kraken and the Red Wings. All right, so we're in intermission. So I'll go that, and let me go to. And I'll be definitely watching the Suns and the Warriors, which will be on here in about an hour and a half. Absolutely, man. Like I said, if you're a fanatic, you can't get enough. Like, and this is the best time of year. Ooh, Reeves with a hard drive, no foul call. Come on. Alley-oop, got him. What a oop right there by the Nuggets. Gordon is legit. How soon does Philly go to the bullpen? That's a good question. I'm not too sure. I was surprised that they didn't just try to go with like a Zach Wheeler with short rest, but obviously the Diamondbacks got one early, but the Phillies were able to rebound with Bohm. I figured it would be not one of the superstars that would get the homer or the key RBI to tie it, but at least they're not down 3 runs early, and that's really what got the crowd out of it in Game 6. So, I mean, I'm not really too sure, Terry, when they're going to pull the trigger. Your guess is as good as mine. Sharon Gordon, he got the hops. That's a really good player for that team, too. Anthony Davis with a cut. All right, let me go back to the game. All right, we're in the top of the 4th. Next up is Tommy Pham, baby. I mean, as long as the game is still 1-1, I mean, you can keep going until like the sixth inning, but it feels like it could be this inning or next inning where they may pull the starters, a little early for strategy purposes and whatnot. I mean, this is game 7, so you lose, you're on the couch. You win, you go to the World Series against the Rangers. And honestly, both teams that are competing for the spot, no matter what they do, they might end up both losing to the Rangers, regardless of who ends up making it out of these two teams. They got the X factor. They got Bochy. Yeah, I like Ranger too, but I'm just not sure if I like him in game 7. Like out of all the pitchers that they have, you know what I mean? Like I almost feel like a Wheeler or a Nola on short rest, depending on when they pitched, in the previous games. That would be something that I probably would want to go to instead of going with the Ranger Suarez. Because typically in game 7, you want to have like your best piece, your strongest piece, unless you're going to have, give that guy a little bit more rest. And then maybe that guy will come in late, to try to close the game out or whatever the scenario may be. But top of the 4th, we're knotted up at 1. Great game 7. Phillies crowd needs to get loud. Gurriel pops up, 2 away. Yeah, and also too, you got to think the in each league, the Rangers were able to win everything on the road. And the National League, it's like mostly the home team was winning the games. So it's like you don't really know what you're getting. But that definitely shows you that the Rangers can win at home, but they're very comfortable on the road. But again, I think like really the big X factor is Bochy. Obviously, with the Phillies, the experience of being there last year and losing and having that pain. Sometimes you got to crawl before you walk. But also, too, on the flip side, no one really assumed the Diamondbacks were going to make this a 6 or 7 game series. I figured Phillies in 6, but I don't think anyone really predicted Diamondbacks in 7, or even Phillies in 7. I don't think anyone really saw, the Diamondbacks good enough to win 3 or 4 games. So it really shows you how confident they are as a ball club. 0-2 pitch. Pitch is high, 1-2 count to Evan Longoria. But so far, a pretty good outing from Brandon Pfaadt as well as Ranger Suarez. Did he go? Did not go. All right, Ranger. Show me Suarez. Yeah, but also too, Dusty Baker was 0-3 in game 7s. So history tends to repeat itself. Like I was telling you, people always ask me, like, what's the X factor when you bet? And I try to help people in fantasy football and betting. It's like with the Niners losing to the Vikings. I wasn't surprised. They traditionally don't play well in Minnesota. A couple of those injuries with, obviously Trent Williams and Debo were big. And, if you end up, not playing good on the road with Brock Purdy and being careless with the football, it history ended up repeating itself. And again, in this particular matchup, the Phillies are at home. But again, like I said earlier, every time that the Milwaukee Brewers have made the playoffs in the last 15 years, whatever team that has beaten them has gone on to the World Series every single time. Okay. And who beat the Milwaukee Brewers in the playoffs this year? The Arizona Diamondbacks. So if history tends to repeat itself, the Diamondbacks are winning tonight. So we'll see if that ends up holding up true or if the Philly crowd can will them to the victory. But again, Phillies have never been in a game 7. So, you got to be able to look at those little things. And sometimes you can say, oh, it's just a coincidence. But is it though? When it keeps happening over and over again, like some things that we just can't, understand, or we don't understand why it's happening. Like, why does it matter whoever plays the Brewers ends up going to the World Series every time? I don't fucking know, but I just look at the stats and I read it. And if that ends up being true, then sometimes you got to go with that. So, ooh, 2-1, nice. You guys are fun to watch. Avalanche is fun. Stars are fun. I mean, there's quite a few teams that you can tell. Vegas, you can definitely tell the teams that are like legit this year. And many of them were legit last year, too. It seems like the Kraken is like the only team that was like legit last year, and then they're kind of shit in the bed this year. Unfortunate. All right, hold up. But we will be doing Blazers Clippers tomorrow. And I'm actually excited about it. I normally don't get too excited about the NBA. Usually it's last on my pecking order and whatnot, but I am actually excited for the Blazers this season. All right, what the hell is going on here? Hold up. There we go. All right, we're in the bottom of the fourth. Alec Boehm, who hit the homer to tie up the game earlier, a few innings back. Yeah, there's a lot of different strategies that you guys can, do in fantasy. You guys just better hope I don't win the championship with fucking Jalen Warren and Rashad White at running back, because that shows you that running backs are very valued. But if I can win a championship with those two guys and Montgomery, it just depends on what you got. You got heavy running backs or heavy wide receivers, or if you're really good at kicker and defense, you got to have a collection of pieces, and you can figure out how it goes. So. But if I do win the championship this year, I'll be very proud of this team because, again, I only have David Montgomery, Rashad White, and Jalen Warren. And Jalen Warren gets like 10 points a game. Rashad White gets like 7 or 8 points a game. Every once in a while, he'll get 10 or 12. So, I mean, even though that's not 20 or 30 like some of the other running backs, sometimes if you get 10 and 10, that's enough to win. So as long as my wide receivers hit and I can get good numbers there. But I need David Montgomery to come back. I need to have at least one fucking good running back. That way I can use Montgomery, and then I can have Jalen Warren as my RB2. Obviously, I would love to have someone better, but, it is what it is. I'll make up the difference with my kickers and my defense and tight ends and any other position that I make changes on. But I definitely, as far as running backs are concerned, I probably have some of the weakest running backs out of the league. But I only have one loss, and the only reason I lost that one game is because all my guys had a fucking bye. So we'll see how everything moves forward. But it looks like it's going to be very competitive. Lots of good records still left. But I normally do kind of your strategy, Reflect, where I go very running back heavy. This is the very first year that I decided to kind of neglect the running backs, thinking that they would be getting hurt this year, and not picking the same guys that I had last year, and just going heavy wide receiver. And it's tentatively worked pretty good for me. Besides not having Justin Jefferson and David Montgomery, I don't know how many people could lose their number one running back and their number one receiver and still be this good. But again, I put a lot of time and effort onto my team, so I'm able to find ways. But if I can get Montgomery and Jay Jetta healthy, you guys might be fucked. So because I have enough depth there, to find another RB besides Montgomery, that if I got that type of depth, I think we'll see. But again, you could end up being 13-1, and you go into the playoffs and you play someone that's 8-5, and if you have a bad first week out of a best of 2 week, scenario, and you end up losing that first week by 20, that might be the end of you. I mean, that's happened to me before as well. So, records in the regular season isn't really that big of a deal. It's just about getting to the playoffs. But I always try to score the most, give up the least. I try to be number one, all regular season. And then I just have to pray that my matchups are halfway decent once the playoffs start. I don't have a goddamn all red everywhere. But it just seems like in the last few years, I get fucked with the matchups. I have like rivalry matchups that are in the division, and I traditionally have 7 or 8 red, either the first week or the second week. And it's really hard to combat that. Little blooper. Nice. Go, 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 go. There we go. Safe, baby. 2-1 Phillies. There we go. Yeah, Fo King's money, his team is not better than ours. Your team and my team are better than his. Just because, he got fucking ETN and Lawrence, but they're going to have tough matchups. They're not going to be able to keep it up all year. Even though I do believe in the Jags of being one of the top 4 teams in the AFC, but sometimes they're going to play well, but that team isn't better than your team or my team. Your team and my team are the best teams, overall. And like I said, I can prove that I don't even have to have running backs and I can still beat everybody. So I'll end up making up the difference, somewhere else, whether it be tight end, quarterback, kicker, defense, whatever I have to do. So, yeah. Well, plus also I've made the most moves. That's a big part of it. I constantly improve my team every week. Like I said, I've made 75 moves. So and some moves, end up being where I pick a guy, then I drop him, and I think I have to reevaluate. And so some of those are that, but still, the more effort you put into your team, the better you're going to do. The more that you read, the more that you click on the names, the better that you're going to do. If you have any type of insight, and unless you drafted really, really well. But even if you drafted well, it's you want to make sure you have depth for those matchups that are tough. Especially if you have a bunch of like red matchups and you got green guys on the bench, sometimes you got to put those guys in. Oh, another key hit. Yeah, but I'm telling you though, I don't know how many people would be able to lose Jay Jetta and lose David Montgomery. So I'm left with 2 shitty running backs, and I'm still able to, do the damage that I'm doing. Like I said, you really have to be able to build a roster. But I'll tell you what, I mean, Montgomery is like, 20 to 30 points. Jay Jetta is at 20 to 40 points. A lot of fucking points that I'm missing out on. And I can't count on Rashad White or Jalen Warren getting more than 10, like 10 to 12 points. That's it. So, not ideal. Runners on the corners, 2-1 Phillies. Pitch is high and outside. 1-0 count. The bot life. I like the Diamondbacks mentality that, they believe they should be here and they played with a lot of confidence. And again, like I already knew, like my dad's been a Dodger fan since the 50s. I knew they were going to be frauds this year. Their lineup 5 through 9 was terrible. Like I said, and if the pitching staff is injured on top of that, that's too much pressure on Mookie and Freddie to be like the heroes every fucking game. And you got to have role players in baseball and in any sport to step up. It can't always be the best player on the team. Sometimes it's going to be that lower name guy, like in the lineup, like a Alec Boehm or a Brandon Marsh or whoever. It's not necessarily going to be, a Schwarber every time or Trey Turner or Bryce Harper. Sometimes it has to be that unexpected hero. Yeah, Dodgers weren't very good, But with that being said, they still broke the record and they had like 100+ wins. So it's like, they were like the most fraudulent good team in Major League Baseball. It's like you could go 162, but I don't know if anyone really believed that they were going to do anything. I knew that they weren't going to do anything. But the Braves shitting the bed 2 years in a row, that was shocking. You're the best team almost all year, 2 years in a row, not only in the National League, but in the American League, and then you just can't get it done in the playoffs. Some teams are clutch. Some teams are good regular season teams, and some are good postseason teams. The Braves are the best regular season team in the last few years, and the Phillies are probably the best postseason team in the National League, at least the last couple of years. Best beard in baseball, Brandon Marsh. Pitches inside, 2-0 count. Feels like this is a very key moment in the game. Like I said, if they end up getting, another RBI, this game might be over. I'm not really sure if the Diamondbacks are going to be able to come back from like a 4-1 game. 2-1 or 3-1? Yeah. 4-1? I don't know. I like the Orioles too. Young and up and coming. Like I think the Mariners and the Orioles in the next few years, I wouldn't be shocked if you would see those teams in an ALCS in the near future, depending on if the Mariners ever spend any goddamn money. You know, but Baltimore was a lot of fun to watch this year. I like seeing new teams emerge. Pitches outside, he walked them. All right, man. I appreciate you. Yes. Clippers Blazers tomorrow. We'll watch it together, bro. I'm excited. Good luck this year. I hope you guys do well. Got him. Wow. I can't believe they got out of that inning right there. Ooh, keeping this game actually somewhat close. Two one Philadelphia. End of the fourth inning. Let me go bounce around here. See if the Kraken game has come back on. Ah, Red Wings 1, Kraken 0. Golly. And then when Sarah, when we end up getting Warriors and the Suns, when that comes on around that time, I'll probably remember. But give me a quick reminder when you see that other NBA game has ended. That way, at least I can turn that on. Look for the fiver. Appreciate you. Let me know what you want to see for photos. I got you. Come on, Kraken. Golly. Appreciate you, brother. Bang, bang, bang. Boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. You want some Seahawk players? What you thinking? You want some Witherspoon, or you got somebody in mind? Let me know what you're thinking. Come on, Kraken. God, the lack of goal scoring is just driving me insane. Like, how the hell are the Kraken in the playoffs last year and we're 0-4-1? Golly. Yeah, I saw that. That's super sucks, dude. You kidding me? Yeah. Out for the year, right? Chenna. All right, I got a couple here for you. A fire one. Another one there for you. And then I had to throw another one in just for good measure. A little Bobo, baby. That's a cool one. Appreciate you, man. Throw to first. Got him. One away. Yeah, I know, and obviously a very thin position for Seattle, already. So it's like the last thing that you wanted is to have someone like that get hurt out of the entire defense. That would be like one of the ones that you're like, no, like, if someone else gets hurt, fine, but not that piece. So it'll definitely be hard to recover from that. I appreciate you. Yeah, prayers up for him. Hopefully he comes back. And I don't know if they're going to be looking at anybody, before the trade deadline to fill the need. There's always going to be rumors on certain pieces that might be available. But I feel with a lot of these teams, unless you're like the Philadelphia Eagles, where you're on the cusp, or like the Niners or the Chiefs, there may not be a whole lot of movement. Lots of it is just rumor, but you know, definitely I think Seattle is a playoff team. That's for damn sure. And honestly, if the Niners keep having injuries and they start, playing kind of mediocre ball, there is a possibility that the Seahawks win the NFC West. I don't know if anyone's really saying that yet, but we've already seen 2 losses in a row after 15 wins in a row from San Francisco. But if the injuries keep piling up and they're significant with Debo, Run CMC, and guys like Trent Williams, who arguably is the best left tackle in the game, they may continue to keep dropping games and have Seattle catch up, just methodically. Because Seattle just keeps taking care of business, even if they only win by a little. But a win is a win. Who cares? They win by 1 point, it's a win. Yeah. The PI penalty, and they got it wrong. Yeah. Well, a little too late with that. Elliot, my boy, my son in the building. What's good? How are you, bro? I'm watching NBA. I'm watching the Kraken. I'm watching baseball. It's a fanatic day, dude. A fanatic frenzy. How are you doing, bro? Ketel Marte in the box. 2-2 count. 2-1 Phillies. Top of the fifth. Corbin Carroll needs to hit a homer or get a big, big RBI. Like, he already has 2 hits, but if the Diamondbacks are going to end up winning, he needs to, have a magical moment, to be able to like take the lead, or, he's going to have something, a real big RBI or a home run in this game. Oh, he got a bad headache. I could think of about 20 things at a dispensary that would take care of that. Pitches inside. 2-1 count. Shep in the building. What's good? I'm doing good, man. Just watching NBA, NHL, MLB. I got a message from Lenny D, our wrestling homie, and he was actually on Monday Night Raw last night. They bought nosebleed tickets. There we go, Diamondbacks. Corbin Carroll, like I said, my ESP is strong. What did I say? I told you, key RBI. There it is. The sports gods, they love to listen. And that's his 3rd hit of the game. Guys like him have to be able to step up for his legacy. If we're going to talk about Julio Rodriguez and those like big, big names, Adley Rushman, Corbin Carroll is that dude. And honestly, he's ahead of schedule over Julio and Adley Rushman. And there you go. 3rd hit of the game, key RBI, put him right back in the game. If you don't have Corbin Carroll, you don't win this game, period. Superstars love to shine. But Lenny D had nosebleed seats, and then was supposed to work, and then they ended up sneaking down, and then they were right behind Samantha Irvin and Michael Cole, and he got to see Finn Balor like right there, and he sent me a couple clips from his girlfriend and a couple still shots and also a couple videos to show him right there in the front row, right kind of next behind Michael Cole, right behind the announcer table and whatnot, which was pretty cool. I was going to say, I told him, I was like, bro, I was like, those are going to be pretty expensive. He's like, he's like, we didn't pay for them. I was like, oh, okay. So I guess his buddy works for the location. where Monday Night Raw was being held at. So I guess he works there as a worker, and then they were able to kind of sneak down there and stay down there. I don't know how long they were able to stay down there, the whole show, couple matches, but but there was few videos and still shots of him right there in the front row. I was like, that's cool, man. As long as you don't get thrown out or whatever. But like having a front row experience, compared to sitting up in the nosebleed, there's no, it's not the same for sure. Yeah, I don't think any Padre fans don't really give a shit about Bob Melvin. They'll be able to get somebody better. How are you doing, bro? What's good? All right, I gotta go check on some of these other games that we got going on here. All right, Phoenix Suns and the Warriors. That hasn't started yet, has it? Is that starting at 7? I think it starts at 7. All right, let's take a look. Oh, Kraken scored. Yes, 1-1. Let's go. Good shit. I missed it though. Who scored for the Kraken? Now I got to look it up. Was it Maddie? Matt in the building. What's good? Oh, Schwartz scored off a power play. Wow. We actually scored something. Okay. Nice job, Kraken. Hell yeah. What's going on at work, man? This crazy stuff going on. Just having to just bust your ass. How are you doing mentally, Shep? Everything okay? You can always message me outside of the streams too and whatnot. We can talk at another time and whatnot. But I hope everything is okay. Sounds like you've been going through quite a few scenarios and different things. Health and family and work and all kinds of stuff. So we're knotted up at 2. Corbin Carroll is the OG, triple OG. Without 3 hits out of Corbin Carroll, this is not a 2-2 game. And there we go. Go, Corbin, go. Yeah, baby. 3-2. Diamondbacks, baby. Out at first, but you took the lead. Let's go. Wow. Let's go to the bottom of the 5th. Corbin Carroll, man. I'm telling you. The guy is ahead of the curve. I mean, we talk about Julio. Corbin Carroll, man. I'm telling you, this guy's got ice water in his veins. Huge, huge. I'm a little jealous. I wish we had Corbin Carroll on the Mariners. Like, and it's cool that he's from Seattle, so I will always root for Ketel Marte, Seawald, and Corbin Carroll. Like, always, always, always. If you got some kind of relationship from the Mariners or you're from Oregon or Washington, I'm going to root for you heavy. So, same thing with like Adley Rushman at Oregon State. So, golly, that was awesome. Shitty base running there at the end, but at least they got the run in. Nuggets 103, Lakers 96. I assume the Nuggets are going to win that. And then tomorrow we'll end up doing the Blazers and the Sixers. Or no, the Blazers and the Clippers, excuse me, tomorrow. And that'll be at 7:30 Pacific time. So I know it'll be a little bit later, but it's the Blazers' first game, so I want to make sure if I'm going to be doing some of the NBA games, I got to be able to, squeeze in a few Blazer games as well. So I told you, LG. Like I said, you say it, the sports gods hear it, And I figured Corbin Carroll was going to have that clutch RBI either then or within the next couple innings. And there you go. He gets on base. Someone else decides to step up, and boom! All of a sudden, you're down 2-1. All of a sudden, you go, to the bathroom or you go get a snack, make yourself a little sandwich, look at the scoreboard, and all of a sudden, you see a 3-2 Diamondbacks. So they're resilient, man. Blue Moon, for real. Yeah. We'd be drinking the Blue Moons. You come out here to Oregon, bro. Blue Moon with the orange peel. Throw back a few Coronas or Modelo's. I like Corona better, though. Modelo is a little bit harsher tasting to me. You know what I mean? Like, you can have it on tap or you can have it in a can, but I feel like Modelo is more of an acquired taste. It's a little harsher, than Corona. Corona definitely is smoother and it tastes better. It's an apple, yeah. Kraken won, Red Wings won. 7 minutes left in the second period. Let's go Kraken. And it's been rainy all day here in the Pacific Northwest, but I still was able to get the exercise in with me and Paisley. And she gets like kind of antsy too. Like she loves being outdoors, and as long as we're not getting poured on, that she wants to be able to get out there. And I don't blame her. She's super adventurous, and I like that about her. Schwarber, go, 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 Schwarber, go. Schwarber in the second. Yeah, I think Modelo is good, but it definitely hits the taste buds a little bit harder. Like, I mean, if you're already drunk and faded, then it's like whatever. But it's like if that's your first drink, and it's like I feel like when you drink it out of like a can, it's like rough. Like I've had them at the Blazer games before, and I'm like, God, I don't even know if I want to finish this. Like, but if you're already like into the moment, then it doesn't matter, But I don't think Modelo tastes very good. But Modelo Cheladas, those are fire. The Modelo Chelada ones that I used to drink on stream are Coronas. Yeah. But it's probably good that I decided to cut out beer, alcohol, fast food for the most part, and like I said, this is the healthiest that I've been probably since my 20s, and like I said, dropping 60, 70 pounds, since COVID is a pretty big accomplishment. So 108.96 Nuggets. And if the Diamondbacks win, I'm not going to be surprised because if the Phillies really wanted to end this, they would have ended it in Game 6, which they should have at home. You let the Diamondbacks creep around, and if you let a team like that creep around that has an actual Hall of Fame player like Corbin Carroll, you better hope that you can contain him. And most of the time you can't because he's that damn good. I mean, Corbin Carroll is not just a good player. He's not an all-star player. He is a superstar like a Bryce Harper, and sometimes even more clutch than Bryce Harper. Like he is legit. And I think it's cool that the Diamondbacks have their, Hall of Fame superstar player. Like we have Julio, but Corbin Carroll obviously is a better postseason player and a better clutch player after the All-Star break compared to Julio. I'm just hoping Julio will be able to figure it out so that way he can be on the Corbin Carroll level. Popped up all the way to the warning track. 2 away. No problem, man. I appreciate you. Message me anytime if you want to, talk privately and whatnot. I hope everything is going well. I got your back no matter what. And go get yourself a beer and relax, brother. Miss you. Thank you for coming in and saying what's up. Appreciate you. This game is like about runs. Like I don't think you really know who's going to win this. That's what makes it exciting. Like I definitely could have did NBA or did the Kraken. I was like, no. I was like, I love baseball too much. Like like my pecking order goes like NFL, college football, wrestling at the top. Then probably after that, baseball, and then probably NASCAR, and then probably NBA and college hoops is at the very bottom. But I am excited about the Blazers this year and Dame and Giannis and the league overall. Like, this is the first time where you're not going to hear me say that I hate the NBA, which I have been pretty firm on that stance in the last like 5 years. So this is, I think we're young. It's going to be fun, and then you have a few guys move to new teams. So I still think that it's at the bottom of my interest level, but I'll at least that like I'll be excited about watching NBA, and we're going to have a scoreboard and everything else. So yeah, and I want to be able to get some more Kraken games in as well. All right, I'm going to go use the restroom here real quick while we have a little break. Carol, Bryce, baby. All right, I'm back. And this was cool too. I was able actually to find the transparent 2023 NLCS logo, which sometimes you're able to find the logos in the transparent, and some that you're able to find and some not. So no worries. I saw that we scored, so we ended up getting it knotted up 1-1, which is great. Yeah, I hear you. See what we get from Alec Bohm. 1 for 1 with a solo homer early in the game to get them going. Underrated third baseman like Eugenio Suarez for the Mariners. You don't really hear a lot of talk out of those guys, but they play pretty damn well, game in and game out. Underappreciated star. Schwartz with an assist with Vince Dunn and Maddie. Bohm pops up, and the Diamondbacks get out of the inning. End of the fifth. Diamondbacks. Corbin Carroll. 3-2. Arizona. And Philly fans are worried, which they should be. If the Phillies were really legit, they would have ended it in 6. So if you're letting a team hang around, it kind of feels more and more like that, history that I was mentioning, that every team that has played the Milwaukee Brewers in the playoffs in the last 15 to 20 years, whoever has beaten them has always moved on to the World Series. Literally like 15 times in a row, whoever beats the Brewers advances. Who played the Brewers this year? The Diamondbacks. And now they're on the verge of getting to the World Series and keeping that streak intact. Like, I don't know why those stats come out like that, but it's just so weird where something can repeat itself over and over. Like, how is it possible that every time a different team that plays the Brewers, that team ends up making it to the World Series? It's mind-boggling. But a lot of times you have to read those things, when you're betting or making predictions, because history tends to repeat itself. History is meant to be broken, right? And that does happen from time to time, like Aaron Judge, Roger Maris. But more times than not, history in sports tends to repeat itself over and over and over again. I don't know if it's psychological, if it's just a coincidence, but I mean, if it's happened like 15 fucking times, obviously it's more than just a coincidence. So we will see. We will see. But I'm glad this game is close and it's not a blowout. 42, 58 to go. 115 to 103. Go Nuggets. They're fun to watch. I mean, for some people, it's boring. You know what I mean? But I like defense, rebounding, kind of like the nitty gritty. And it's sometimes the Nuggets are going to win and not like excitingly to most people. They want to see alley oops and all this. And every once in a while, you'll get them, from Gordon or someone else. But, compared to other teams, most people as fans are like, oh, the Nuggets are boring. But that boring style of basketball equates to wins and championships. Facts. And I'd be shocked if the Nuggets don't make it to the finals again. And if you really think about it, it should be probably Nuggets and the Bucks as long as Dame and Giannis don't get hurt or Middleton. If they get hurt, then they're not going to make it. But if they stay healthy, we should be able to get a Milwaukee-Denver NBA Finals. At least you would think so. All right, Christian Walker is up. Almost hit him. Oh my gosh, how did that not hit him? It literally went into his jersey. Oh my God, that was lucky. 1-2 count. One away. Who should you dress up for Halloween? Chip Kelly or Bo Nix? You already have the duck chain. If you want to do Chip Kelly, you got to go get an Oregon Duck visor. Boom. Yeah, but both of these teams might be fucked against the Rangers. The Rangers are so hot right now. And they got the X Factor. They got Bruce Bochy. So it kind of feels like it might be a Rangers World Series this year to me. Not saying that the Diamondbacks and Phillies can't win it. They definitely can, but we'll find out if the American League is the real deal Holyfield. I mean, like I said, I have a mad respect for the Diamondbacks being like the Cinderella story and the Phillies, having that heartbreak, and then, making it to the World Series and losing to the Astros. But something about that Rangers team, it just feels, like the Astros. They're so good, and it's not like the National League sucks. But, being a Mariner fans, you and me reflect, we understand how good our division is. And sometimes people don't understand how good the Mariners, the Rangers, and the Astros really are. if you match up to the rest of the league. Like, honestly, I think we have the best division, based off quality. I mean, I don't think there's a division that's got three better quality teams in it besides our division. Like, and eventually we're going to catch up to them and we will win a World Series. We will get to an ALCS someday. So, but Philly's keeping this Diamondback team kind of hanging around, hanging around, hanging around. Eventually, you're going to lose because if Corbin Carroll gets up again, what do you think is going to happen? He's going to hit a homer or another RBI, and then the dreams are going to be shattered. Like, you're supposed to have the loudest crowd, out of all Major League Baseball teams, but everyone is kind of on edge right now. They're not cheering. The drunkenness has worn off, and now it's a little bit of fear creeping in that you might lose game 6 and 7 at home. And obviously, you don't deserve to make it to the World Series if you can't get it done at home in front of your own fans. I feel like the Diamondbacks are the more confident team right now. Calm, cool, collected. Phillies are playing on edge. Diamondbacks are just playing ball. And if you're playing ball and you're not having that extra pressure, you're typically going to end up winning the game. Okay, Warriors is coming up. Thank you for that reminder. I'm going to turn that on here in a second. Candace in the building. What's good? Yeah, and like I said, we were really, really good against the Astros, and we had their number, but they weren't as good as years previously. The Rangers were really good, and we couldn't figure them out, and like I said, what's happening? We didn't do very good against the Rangers at the end of the year. Rangers, Astros, Rangers, and we had the Dodgers before that, right? And then we saw how hot the Rangers got, and that momentum shifted. And again, home teams won in the National League. The Rangers were able to win everything on the road. I have never seen a team, that hasn't been there in a while. And the real difference between the Rangers this year and previous years is Bruce Bochy. Yes, they spent money on Seager and other guys, but to me, the biggest factor is the manager. You know how I like managers and coaches and coaching and play calling and defense? Those are big, big things in sports. And I feel that the Rangers have an advantage with Bochy compared to everyone else that's left. And that's why I think they're going to win the World Series. 119, 107. Nuggets win. Laker fans are mad, but I mean, what did you expect? It's the fucking Nuggets, right? All right, I got to check up on the Kraken here. And the Warriors as well. Now, is the Warriors game start at 7 or 7:30? All right, I got it on. One nineteen, 107. Nuggets. They got really good role players. Doing good. How are you? How is everything going in your life, Candace? Hopefully everything is great. All right, I'm gonna try to, I don't know if like sometimes with my gig, like things are fine. I can do like 4 things at once. I can stream, I can watch 3 other games and everything is fine. But then other times, even when I do just one thing, shit starts fucking up and whatnot. So, but I'm gonna attempt to watch 3 games at once and stream. We'll see how it works out here. All right, we're in the second intermission. Whoa, Kraken 3-1. Whoa, what did I miss? Whoa, 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 whoa. We actually are scoring like the sports gods listen. They're like, you guys haven't been scoring goals at fucking all. And it was 1-0, then 1-1. And then now, with a blink of an eye, we're at 3. I love it. Or did we get here? Schwartz with a power play. We finally got a power play goal, thank God, assisted by Vince Dunn and Matty Benez. And then we got Schwartz again, assisted by Wenberg and Bjorkstrand. And then Ty Cartier. Okay. Demola with the assist. 3-1. We're going to win tonight. Thank God. I mean, we're 1-4-1. That's dog shit. Golly. Kraken, you're killing me. We're literally one of the worst teams in the NHL right now. One, two, three, four. We're literally one of the bottom four in the NHL right now. We got to be able to get better. But if we get a dub here, that's a really good start. And especially that we're getting power play goals and we're having some confidence. I mean, it's about damn time. 3-1 Kraken. There we go. We're winning this tonight. We're winning tonight. All right, we're in the bottom of the sixth. It could be a beginning of a dynasty. I wouldn't be surprised if Bochy ends up getting one or two in his tenure there. I mean, they got three against the Dodgers. Going back and forth. Dodgers, Giants, and the Giants with Mad Bum and Buster Posey. I mean, they were magnificent. And that, like I said, I don't think I mentioned it at the beginning of the year that I thought that was the biggest pickup, rather than a player than Bochy going there. And look what he did. It's like, you made these moves and you spent some money, but if Bochy's not there, you're not in the World Series. You might not even be in the playoffs. Like I said, that's how much of a difference that Bochy makes. Bochy, I mean, if he's not there and with that World Series experience and that knowledge, I think the Rangers are a good team, but maybe not a playoff team. They're going to be like with the Mariners, like a little bit closer with them, and then maybe there's a few other teams that are slightly better. Like maybe they make it, maybe they don't. So yeah, but you also got to look at the experience reflect. You don't have World Series experience and think that it's just players. Coaching is more than players. You know, you can have athletes out there, but if they don't have direction and good coaching and have good mentors, you're not going to get the best out of the athletes. Athletes are athletes, but they can't do it alone. For me, coaching is always more important than players. If you have good direction and you have good leadership and you have good mentors and you have good coaching, you can take average players and make them elite. You can have elite players and you can have shitty coaching. You're not going to go anywhere. Like, do you think the Giants were going to win those World Series without Bochy on San Francisco? They wouldn't have. Yeah, it's like you had Mad Bum and you had Buster Posey. You had guys out there, but I don't think they were going to be good enough to win without a really good manager like that. Lincecum, he was in his bag for a couple of years. Like if we had a better GM and we had Bochy, as our manager, you don't think the Mariners would do better if DePoto's not there and we actually have a good GM and we have Bochy managing? You don't think that we're in a better position than we are? We would be. So, like I said, GMs and managers are important. They can either help you to success or they can hold you back. And those guys are holding us back by not spending money and not being as good as they could be. That's my take on it. Now we got the game break with the TNT crew. All right, let me listen to see what Shaq is saying. Actually, one of the shows that is worth listening to. I'm not saying that Bochy is winning the World Series with the M's roster, but I'm saying that we would be better, with Bochy, and if we didn't have DePoto, you know what I mean? Like even if we didn't bring in like all these players, like I think we would have been better. It's like I said, it's a mentality. It's like players can do so much, but coaching and actually having good teams, if you look at the NFL, the way that it's structured, if you have a good owner and a good GM and good head coach, you don't have to have elite players to be able to make it happen. You can end up having an average to above average, but if you have elite ownership and coaching, that's why the Niners and the Eagles, and the Chiefs are going to be good almost every single year because it starts at the top. If you have problems with the coach or the GM or whoever it may be, in that leadership role, it's going to hold those teams back. So Yeah. Well, you and me, we're not going to agree. You're going to have your take. I'm going to have mine. So, you're going to have your mentality. I'm going to have my mentality. But for me, I've always been, O line, D line, defense, coaching, play calling. And you might be more offense and the players, but we can see things and we can agree to disagree. But again, you know, I've been watching a long time. You've been watching a long time. You can have your perspective. I can have my perspective. So. But I'll tell you what, if we didn't have Dipoto and if we had someone better than Scott Service, we would have made the playoffs this year. Because you got to think, you add Corey Seager, to the Mariners, and you add some of those guys, but you still have Dipoto, there, and you have Service there. Do we really feel that confident? And the thing is, we wouldn't even be able to get those players because they're not spending the money. So we wouldn't even be able to get Dipoto out of there and have Seager or Garcia or some of these other guys. Like I don't even know what's going to happen with the Mariners. Hopefully, one day we'll actually spend some fucking money and get those guys out of there. I mean, if Service wants to stay, fine, but we got to get rid of Dipoto. But give me O line, D line, defense, coaching, and play calling over offense, quarterback, running back, wide receiver, tight end all day, every day. You can win games with offense, but you're not going to win championships with just solely offense. Diamondbacks 3, Phillies 2. Top of the seventh, 2-1 count. Phillies are on edge right now. It feels like they're not going to win this game. One away. Yeah. Or it's like when the Buccaneers ended up playing Patrick Mahomes in the Super Bowl, and I held them to not even throwing a one fucking touchdown pass. You had your best coach, Andy Reid, best quarterback, Patrick Mahomes, best tight end, Travis Kelce. How the hell did they not get at least one touchdown pass? Defense. It's not only defense, but one of the top defenses in a long time. So it's almost mind-boggling to think. And they talk, oh, the Eagles' defense was so good last year. Yeah, when they were playing shitty opponents, but they weren't able to hold Patrick Mahomes to those low stat line like we did. So there's different levels to the defense. If you have Hall of Fame players or if you don't, you can still be a good defense during the regular season. But it really comes down to how many Hall of Famers do you have, and the more Hall of Famers you have, the better you're going to do. Wheeler warming up. All right, I gotta see what we got going on here. What time is the? Or I'm gonna click on it. I think it starts. Does it start in 20 minutes at 7:30? Okay, they still have the. Hopefully, the Kraken can hang on. We need a dub, and I believe the NBA game starts at 7:30. So 4-1. Nice. Oh, he shows bunt. Wow. But the way that the momentum has shifted in this game, it's very firmly in Arizona's corner. Like Uncle Mo in the dugout, he's just eating chips off his belly. A couple 40s. It's like some big things need to happen to get the momentum turned around. Like you might be able to hold, the Diamondbacks the rest of the game to just 3, but are you going to be able to tie the game or take the lead? That's the big question. And with the Diamondbacks, I don't know if you're just going to end at 3. It's like something, kind of feels like they might end up getting 4. Like they might end up getting at least 4 or 5, like 1 or 2 more runs before this is over. So it's like the Phillies need to be able to hold them to nothing else, and I don't think they will. Perdomo. The Phillies had their chance to eliminate the Diamondbacks in Game 6 at home, and they failed. So when you fail like that, that was your chance to advance, and you fucked up. So if the Phillies end up going to the World Series, it's going to be, out of their control. Sports gods have control of it now. Because if you let a team hang around too long, we know this in sports, momentum can shift. And when momentum shifts, it's really hard to get it back. Now, if the Diamondbacks didn't have a stud like Corbin Carroll, then I'd be like, it's over. I don't give a shit who they have on there. But when you got a superstar player like that they feed off of, that comes up big. I mean, 3 for 3, and that's huge. Julio would not be able to do that if Julio was in this kind of position. Yeah, he would probably be 0 for 3 or 1 for 3. Some guys are just more clutch than others. And that's one thing I really do like about Corbin Carroll. Very, very clutch. Very patient in the box. A leader, and he's really smart out there. Good base runner, good defender in the outfield, and great hitter. Hit with power, or he can get you a single or a double, no problem. Marte. Marte. Wow, baby. Let's go. Your boy is right. I told y'all. Uh-oh. It just doesn't feel like. And then next up, who is it? Corbin Carroll going to go 4 for 4? This is what makes you turn into a legend. When you get in these situations when you're on the road and everyone doesn't think that you can even get it to Game 7, let alone Game 6, and then you end up getting into a position where you have an opportunity to go 4 for 4 and fucking hit that nail in that coffin and slam that bitch shut. If he goes 4 for 4 right here, this bitch is over. I'm not saying that even he has to hit a home run here, but if he gets an RBI here, this bitch is over. More than likely. Ooh, look at Marquise Grissom. Longest postseason hitting streak all time. 16, 15, 14, 14. Marquise Grissom from the Expos. And the cool thing about the Diamondbacks is when they play on the road, it feels like they're playing at home. The crowd might be against them, but the confidence level on the road, you don't really see a lot of teams this young play with this kind of confidence. Impressed. Very impressed. And like I said, he's Seattle born and bred. So, Ketel Marte Mariners, Paul Sewald Mariners, Corbin Carroll. I mean, hell, I like Corbin Carroll, and I've always liked him, just like Adley Rushman. But it's like, he's got that, like, Julio Rodriguez might be more popular than Corbin Carroll, right? But Corbin Carroll, like I said, he is so clutch. Let's see if he can end up getting another hit here. Second rookie with 3 hits in a Game 7. I mean, it doesn't get any more fucking clutch than that. But if he gets a home run or a big RBI here where it scores 1 or 2, this pitch is over. Pitch is low. Maybe he'll end up getting a walk here. He's pretty patient. He won't swing at garbage. But again, any team that's played the Brewers has ended up advancing to the World Series. So that stat line alone would mean that they are going to advance. Big swing and a miss. 1-2 count. Great pitch there. I mean, I don't even, you got to actually kind of like take a look. How often does anybody go 3 for 3 or 4 for 4 in game 7? Like, never. Let's go, Corbin. Chop foul. Good fight. Nice. What's Dallas's record for the Stars so far this season? Much better than the Kraken. Look at Corbin Carroll. Sacrifice. Boom. That brings in one. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. It wasn't a hit, but you brought in a run. There you go. Oh, Diamondbacks are already confident that they're going to win. They have that stat on their side. So Diamondbacks are going to, it's over. Diamondbacks won. It's going to be Diamondbacks Rangers. The only problem is I don't know if the Diamondbacks are good enough to beat the Rangers. You know, like I feel like the Diamondbacks could end up stretching that to 6 or 7 games because obviously they're doing more than anyone anticipated, Corbin Carroll and company. But the Rangers, man, that's another animal. That's, you know, you could argue that's the Phillies, but even better than the Phillies, you know, based on how they've been playing. So nice job, Corbin Carroll. 4-2. And I just now you got Zach Wheeler, and that's where the Phillies fucked up. You should have started Zach Wheeler instead of having him come in here late and try to save the day. Too little, too late. We've heard that before. I would be shocked if the Phillies come back and win. Momentum is against them. I don't see it happening. Rangers over Phillies, if that happens too, more than likely, yeah. I think it kind of feels like it's a Rangers World Series to me. You know, just off vibe, manager, you know, pitching, closers, their key players, Adolis Garcia, you know, Seager, you know, and just look at the road record and how good they were. Pretty amazing. You know, but again, no one thought that the Diamondbacks would even be able to get to this point. Hell, not many people didn't even expect them to win. You know, so they're actually making history as we see as well. So sports gods obviously are in favor for more of the Diamondbacks. So, and then maybe the Phillies, you know, crowd, once they saw the Dodgers and Braves get eliminated, maybe they were like, you know, jump the gun a little bit. You know, got a little cocky, like, oh, we're going to go to the World Series and we're going to win. We're destined. It's us. We lost last year. We crawled. Now we're walking, and now we're going to run to the championship, and we're going to get the pennant. But then they forgot about the Diamondbacks before they actually got there against the Rangers. It's like, oh, we're going to beat the shit out of them. Oh, we got this. But again, if the Phillies were going to win this, they would have won in game 6. They let it go to that extra game, and that is why they're going to lose. You got to be able to take care of business, you know, when the time is right. You don't let a team creep and win game 6 in an elimination game in your fucking stadium, because you're just asking to lose in game 7 because momentum shifted to Arizona, and it's still been in their control. So I would be fucking shocked if Philadelphia comes back. I give them like a 1% chance of coming back. Could they still tie the game up and make it 4-4, and then we end up going to extras or something, or the 9th, and then all of a sudden the Diamondbacks win 5-4? Yeah, I could still see the Phillies getting a run or two if they're lucky. You know, I don't necessarily think it. You know, maybe it ends up being a final 4-2, maybe not, but I don't know. I just don't feel it from Philadelphia. Crowd is quiet. They're not excited. They're nervous. You know, you're supposed to be able to feed that energy to the players, and I don't think they're feeling it. Everyone is, you know, like, fuck, we lost. Like, you know, and as soon as that doubt starts creeping in, that's when you do lose. And you had to make sure that you handled Corbin Carroll and made him go, you know, 1 for 4 or 0 for 4, not 3 for 4 with a sacrifice where he ended up getting a run even though he got out. So he has been the most impressive player here in Game 7. And it's no surprise. Bryce Harper, superstar over there on Philadelphia, but they got a guy over there on Arizona that might be just as big of a superstar than Bryce. Hell, maybe even bigger. I mean, as Corbin Carroll's career keeps going on, he'll be linked with Julio and a few of the younger guys. And there is a good chance that in the next few years that they may be saying, Julio and Corbin Carroll are two of the top 5 players in Major League Baseball with like an Aaron Judge and a Shohei Ohtani. I don't think it's that crazy to think. 2-1 count. Way to put the Pacific Northwest on the fucking map, man. I love it. It would be really cool though if the Diamondbacks won it all. That would give a lot of hope to teams like us, like the Mariners, that like if we get hot and healthy at the right time and have the right pieces in play, even a lower name team like the Diamondbacks, which is the equivalent to like kind of the Mariners, or the Orioles in the American League or the Blue Jays, that maybe we can do it too. You know, it's just like, golly, though, you would have to play so well against Bochy and all those pitchers and all those clutch hitters. Like you would have to play out of your mind, and it would have to probably go 7 games for you to be able to beat the Rangers. You're not gonna, end up getting it like 4-1 on Texas. That would probably be the most shocking thing ever. Like all of a sudden it ends up being Diamondbacks Rangers, and the Diamondbacks sweep the Rangers and win 4-0. That would be the craziest shit ever. But it is sports. Bottom of the 7th, time running out. Oh, wow, that's crazy. Rest in peace to your brother. Yeah, cancer is a hell. Cancer is a hell. This guy, he's kind of good. I wish Julio was more disciplined like Corbin Carroll. And Julio may be more popular, but Corbin Carroll may be the better player. Like I said, popularity don't mean shit. Yeah, you can have all this fame and popularity, but if you let it get to your head and then you aren't getting better in the box, you may see guys like this surpass a guy like Julio. Julio is always going to be in the top 5 as far as popularity globally and the United States. You're going to get Ohtani, you're going to get Aaron Judge, and then you're going to get fucking Julio up there. And the better he does, the better the Mariners do, then more and more looks, more and more fame and whatnot. But I need to be able to see some progression in the box. I need to see some more patience. Otherwise, Mariner fans like me and Reflect and a few others, we're not going to let it go. Because like I said, that could be the guy that gets us to the World Series, but it also could be the guy that holds us back, from that momentum, that Uncle Mo that we need from him to, rub off on the other players. Yeah, we're probably going to be stuck with Dipoto like Jerry Jones and Cowboy fans. It's just like we're going to be stuck with him fucking forever. Okay, I got to turn it on. Kraken though is still going on, I believe too. Though, hold up, I gotta try to get as much action in of everything here. Has it started yet? Is it third period? Oh, it is. Okay. 3-2. Shit. Every time I think the Kraken is going to be able to pull away, and then here comes the Red Wings. Damn it. All right. I got to turn this NBA on. I believe no Draymond Green tonight. 17-12 Suns. Okay. Best time of year. Baseball, basketball, football, hockey, wrestling, NASCAR. I mean, NFL, college football. I mean, golly. That's why people go so crazy, at this time period. A lot of us football fans, we can't wait, for football season. But it's nice to be able to have so many things going on, to keep our mental health on a good point. We go through a lot of stresses, a lot of drama with family or friends or fake friends. fugazi friends that pretend to be our friends and whatnot, and a lot of other bullshit that we have to go through. So it's just always nice when you can have good, positive distractions, that can get us something to look forward to in life. You know, be blessed that we woke up today, but also that we have something to look forward to. And obviously, Corbin Carroll's legacy just took a big jump. You know what I mean? Like I said, if you thought he was a pretty good player, an all-star player, but then you're starting to see the clutch factor, that's big for me. I'd rather have a Corbin Carroll clutch player than a famous player like Julio if he keeps fucking up and he can't fuck. It's like I get it. You can get these homers and you're good at defense and you can steal bags, but there's a lot of games where we needed him to come up with a clutch hit in the ninth with guys on, or maybe with guys not on, and then he would just fucking strike out, either looking or swinging wildly. And that's hella unacceptable if you're going to be considered a superstar Hall of Fame player. That needs to fucking improve. Otherwise, you're just going to be a good player, and that's it. You're not going to be, noted as a Hall of Fame player or one of the best in the generation. We're looking for generational talent. Don't talk to my man like that. My man, my man, my man. I haven't watched it since I watched it that first day. And then I saw this other kid in this other thing, like on one of those like Rap Life, that comes up like on my feed. And it was a kid that was like even younger, even younger than Drake's son, I believe. And, the stuff that he was saying, it's like I feel kind of ashamed of the parents because obviously they're promoting, the language that this kid is saying, but this kid is like some little trap rapper. Kid looked like he was like 5, 6, 7 years old, you know what I mean? And they're outside and they got a microphone hanging and dangling over like a tree limb. So it's like in front of him. And then he's got like, people that are in their teens or 20s, behind them, and, the big wad of cash. And, and he actually, if you listen to his flow for being, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years old, that kid, his flow actually was pretty good, but not really the best example. If you're trying to be able to make money off your kid doing trap rapping at fucking like 5 years old, I mean, he should be playing video games and hanging out with his friends, instead of being around bad influences that are exposing him to things that, maybe that he would already come into, later on when he was a teen, but you just wanted to make money off of him. So, it all depends on how, I guess, the people that are monitoring the situation, But Drake's son is going to succeed because it's Drake's son, and eventually he'll learn, flow better. And I wouldn't be surprised if Drake and some of the friends will write the shit for him, and that's just up to him to deliver it because he's going to have access to the best beats. He's going to have access to any fucking musician, any beat maker, any artist. So it'll be inevitable. Like at some point, Drake's son will be, making waves. Facts. Yeah. My iPad broke. My man. My man. 4-2 Diamondbacks. Yeah, I'm doing the Blazer game tomorrow against the Clippers. And I like a lot of the older stuff from Drake and whatnot, and I like Ozzy. There's certain people that I really really do like. E40, you know, but I've always been a big Drake guy, especially the early stuff because that stuff was like the early Kanye. It really it's like it's a part of who you are, like your soul, like it speaks to you. And there's not very many rappers that are in the game that it's actually like meaningful things that are said. It's like a lot of trap rappers, mumble rappers, shitty beats, shitty lyrics. But every once in a while, you'll get a gem here and there. Schwarber in the box. Like my Ovo hoodie is my most expensive, like Ovo memorabilia. Walked them. Like the camo Ovo stuff that came out, like around 2013 to 2015, as well as when Hotline Bling came out, and with the black hoodie that's got the gold stitching with the owl, where the OVO with the eyes and the nose. I'm a pretty big fashion person too. And as soon as I saw that, I was like, I have to have that. I was like, I already knew that even at the Ovo store, if it's running for 200 or 300, over time, even used ones will go for $300, $400, $500, and that's a fucking hoodie. So you already know like how coveted that shit is, and how not only just Drake fans but just fashion fans too. But I'm happy that I got mine. And and like I said, now you see a lot of them going for $400, $500, $600, $700, even for like a new or used hoodie, because it's like they only did one run of those hoodies, back in like 2013 to 2015, when they released them, and that was it. It's not like they continuously made that look. So it's like you either got a piece of history or you didn't get it. So, and I've never worn mine outside. It's mint condition. Never been washed, worn probably about 3 times inside the house for like parties and whatnot. It's icy, right down the middle for a strike. But the stitching on it is like superb. It's like the most comfortable hoodie. I almost compare it to like a jacket. Like the quality of that hoodie is like top tier. I don't know if it's got the Canada Goose feathers inside, but it's amazing. And the stitching is like the highest quality I've ever seen in stitching. Like the Ovo Owl stitching is like a madman stitched that thing. Like you see normal stitching, and then it's like someone stitched it 5 times in a row over the original stitching. Fantastic. My man, my man. Maybe I'll wear it tomorrow for the Blazers for good luck. Check swing. He did not go. 42 doll hairs, 58 to go. Now the crowd wakes up. It literally took them until now to start cheering. Like, where has this been the whole game? You realize they feed off that momentum in that crowd. Like you waited to the 7th inning when you were down 2 runs. Like, you don't deserve to win now. Too little, too late, Philly. Like, you get there, to the championship game, and then you fail. Eagles, Phillies, Phillies last year, Eagles last year, Phillies this year, Eagles this year. Like, you can't expect anything from the Flyers or the Sixers, but this is like your only shot. Big walk right there. I mean, if you have game 7, vibes, you got to be able to bring that energy. Like, I expected the crowd to be waving the towel and screaming the whole game. Like I was very shocked that we got this tame crowd. But again, when the Diamondbacks got a lead, even if it's only 1 run, all the drunk fans, they get sobered up real quick. And then instead of, being ridiculous and obnoxious and screaming at the other team or the players, they're like, damn, they're like nervous. That creep of doubt starts to creep in. So, boo, 3-3, boo. It was 3-1, then 3-2-3. God, why do we suck so bad? Golly. NFL. Yeah. Well, it wouldn't be 7-game series. It would have to be NFL best of 3. Like, you play 3 times and you have to win 2 out of 3. Oh man, this is heartbreaking. Like, maybe the sports gods are punishing me because I'm not doing the Kraken. The sports gods are like, you should be doing the Kraken, but I'm like, I'm trying to do like playoff baseball. That's a little bit more important at this point. But maybe once I start doing Kraken games, maybe they'll start to get on a little bit of a win streak. It wouldn't surprise me, because I do feel guilty not watching like in entirety. When they're on, I watch, but I'm kind of bouncing around watching multiple things. My boy Jake in the building. He said Phillies fans are not known for their knowledge. Yeah. How you feeling about the Rangers, man? I know you and your son went to some games. Jake is one of my kind of I'm not sure if I would say childhood friend, because we met each other like after we graduated high school. We went to both different high schools, but when I moved into the area that I moved into, we had mutual friends of a group, and we all met each other, and I already knew I was going to click with Jake. Jake is a big Beaver fan like Marcos, and the 3 of us are kind of like our own little mini 3 amigos and whatnot. And Jake is a Blazer fan as well, and obviously probably a little bit of a Maverick fan and a Ranger fan now since you live in Texas. I will be doing the Blazer game tomorrow on the stream. So, we got a young team, but this is the first time in like 10, 15 years I can honestly say I'm excited about Blazer basketball. Dame is gone. We got Scoot. You got Anthony Simons, right? You still got Grant there, right? You got Ayton from the Suns, and you lived in Arizona, so you're familiar with him. So am I, right? And Shaden Sharp has got the hops to give us the highlight reel, ESPN top 10 with the hops, right? Hops for days, and we ain't talking IPA, all right? Shaden Sharp will be throwing it on some heads today. So I'll be doing that tomorrow against the Clippers. Hopefully we fuck them up. But how are you, bro? I don't know. I know some Eagle fans that are pretty fucking smart, that are pretty passionate. I can't speak for Flyer fans or Sixer fans, you know what I mean? But I don't necessarily think Philadelphia is just a bunch of morons. Maybe some of the people are stupid, but I mean, they did throw snowballs at Santa for the Eagle fans, right? They get rowdy and they get drunk, just like a lot of the fan bases. Sometimes a little out of control and a little extra, But sometimes being extra, the sports gods see that shit, and sometimes you'll get punished. Just depends on how extra you are, or sometimes they'll just feel sorry for you, depending on how bad the team has been for so long. But Corbin Carroll, Ketel Marte, Paul Sewald, kind of got the Mariner gear on, 0-2 count. 30 wins for the Blazers. Oh, more. Are you kidding me? I think the Blazers have a chance to overachieve in a very competitive West that I think that most people think we're going to finish in 9th or 10th. I think it's possible that we could finish as high as 7 or 8 if we don't have a lot of injuries. There's injuries to the West, and then we can actually overachieve, and Scoot can score 18 to 25 a game right out of the gate. And if he can do that and be a superstar like Dame was right away, I think that there is a possibility for us to creep from 7, 8, 9, 10 seed throughout the year. Sometimes good, 7, 8 seed, sometimes bad, 9, 10 seed. But I don't think we're going to be garbage. I think we're incredibly young, but I think that I'm not a big believer in Chauncey Billups. I don't really like him. I would fire his ass. I'd rather have Stotts there still if we had a choice. I love Billups and what he was as a player for the Pistons, Tayshaun Prince and Rip Hamilton and Rasheed Wallace and Ben Wallace, but as a coach, I don't like him. Popped up. There we go, Diamondbacks. 2 away. Yeah, but it also depends on how much food and alcohol you're consuming out there too. The more alcohol, and like I said, you can have a smart person drink a bunch of alcohol and turn into a fucking douchebag idiot real quick. So all right, here we go. Bryce Harper. I mean, this is where memories are made. If you are, the man, then you have to homer here to give the Phillies a chance to make it to the World Series to lose to the Rangers, right? But if you don't homer here, like these are the opportunities where you have a moment, right? And you either make a moment and you make your legacy a name, like, Mike Trout, Bryce Harper. Oh, Mike Trout's better. But if Bryce Harper hits a homer here and they win, right, that could be the difference in his legacy, for how you portray Bryce Harper. These are the moments where the clutch players make the biggest plays that we remember for the rest of our lives. And on top of that, he's 0 for 3. So it's not necessarily I'm trying to talk this into existence. The sports gods hang on every word I fucking say, but I would rather have the Diamondbacks win. But we will see here. Are we down now? 4-3. Golly. Our goaltending is booty. No, but I don't feel a Bryce Harper homer. Sometimes I'll have a gut feeling. I'm like, yep, he's going to hit one. Or, oh, we're going to get an interception. But I feel they're going to get out of this inning unscathed. Yeah, they're legit. They're not bandwagon. Some are going to be drunk and douchebags and annoying, but I have actually known more intelligent Eagle fans on this channel and popped up, like your boy said. Sometimes and sometimes ESP, baby. 0 for 4. There's a difference. You want to make a legacy for yourself. You want to go 0 for 4, Bryce Harper, or you want to go essentially 4 for 4 or 3 for 4 and then a sack fly for a run. So essentially, Corbin Carroll went 4 for 4 today. Bryce Harper went 0 for 4. Who's the better clutch player? Game 7. And those are the little intricacies that you can look within the game. Like your best player versus our best player. Who's really better? You're more popular than me, but I'm actually maybe a better player. And maybe I'm young, but that doesn't mean I'm young and dumb, right? Maybe I'm a little bit better than people think. That was huge. What's good with you, Jake? What's good, brother? Are you going to be watching a lot of Mavericks with Luca? But the thing is with the Mavericks, it's like you're only going to go so far. Like, if Kyrie is there, and he thinks it's his team, like I said, when they had that little combo with Kyrie, it wasn't a good fit. You got two me players. I need the ball. I need the ball. Like for Luca to be able to be successful, he needs to be able to either have like a big man, like a Joker or a Giannis, or another really elite guard, playing with him, like a Steph Curry, type of player. Steph Curry and Luca, that could be something. But it would be better if you had like Luca and the Joker, or Luca and Giannis, because then you could kind of bounce off each other. And on top of that, the bigger guy will get blocks, rebounds. He'll be a little bit more influential unless you get someone that's lights out from three. So Corbin Carroll making a name. And we saw what you did last year, Bryce. But this year's Bryce Harper is named Corbin Carroll, baby. He's kind of good. And good for him. Pacific Northwest native. That's why he's good, because we don't fuck around here in the Pacific Northwest. People always want to hate on the Pac-8, Pac-10, Pac-12. They want to hate on the teams from Oregon and Washington. California gets all the love, but we don't include them. Pacific Northwest is only Oregon and Washington because we have a different type of vibe. California has swag and they have their own vibe, but them, it's like money buys their championships and their teams. With us, we have to finesse that shit. Sometimes we got to work, and then when we get good, we're going to be great. When we get good, we're trying to, be like the best that's playing, and that's kind of how we do it. Grit, hard work, a little bit of white collar, a little bit of blue collar, not one or the other. We're not like Detroit where we're all hands on. We use our brains here too. Seawall, baby. You got to watch the Blazers. I'm going to be doing the Blazers, so I got a few people that will I don't know if they're going to comment and stuff, but they'll be tuning in and they'll watch. So, and it would be good for me to get Blazers content on the channel, so that way that we can grow the fan base and another team. I grew it a little bit with the Mariners. Now we got to grow it with the Blazers. And hopefully we can get some Blazer people. Not a lot of Blazer fans are on YouTube, though. I mean, I know they're out there, and stuff, but it's like kind of more of a niche group. A lot of Blazer fans are already so sucked into the game that they just, watch the game. They're not on a social media device. They're either at the bar or at their house with the homies watching the game. But maybe I can, tap into those people that actually are on YouTube to collect them here on this channel. That's the goal. 2-1 pitch outside, 3-1 count. Christian Walker is their home run hitter. Pretty clutch player for them this season. You got Marte and Carroll at the top of the lineup, and then the guy that typically would come through in the big moments is Christian Walker. This is probably their third best player, or arguably second best player behind Corbin Carroll. Not including pitchers, of course. We already know about Paul Sewald. He's the OG. The OG, baby. The Philly fans are booing right now because they haven't been cheering all game. You let a team hang around when you should have eliminated game 6. No questions asked. You left them hanging around, and now you're going to be looking at that. And as Mariner fans know what this is about, when this gets out, you're fucked. You're done. Straight cash, homie. That's what you're going to get. Straight money right there. So it's going to take a miracle now for the Phillies to come back. And if I actually felt that they, were going to do it, I would say it. I just don't feel it. I don't see it. Look at you. All the recovery for my boy. I miss you, dude. I wish that you and Marcos were closer to me. I don't have too many people that I really trust, anymore. It's like I got, my boy Justin, who's probably my best friend, and I talk to him every day. And then, obviously we see Preston, obviously a few times, obviously in a month, or at least once a month at that, And then obviously I got you and Marcos, and I don't really get to see you guys that often. Then I got my boy Joey, and then that's probably it. So not very many. Wow, good catch. That saved. That definitely saved an opportunity for another run to come in. That definitely would have ended up being 5-2 there. How are we going to go from an expansion team, playoff team that overachieves, to being a bottom four team in the NHL in a 3-team span? We come into the league, we know we're going to suck. Then in the second year, we go to the playoffs and even beat the Avalanche in Game 7, but lose to the Stars. And then all of a sudden, we're one of the bottom four teams in the NHL? The hell happened? We got to turn it around. Sports gods are like, you fucking piece of shit, dog. You're not doing the goddamn Kraken. How could you? I'm sorry. I promise we'll do more Kraken. I'll do Kraken. I'll do Blazers, and good shit will happen. Sorry. What happens when you're a fanatic? You're watching like four things at once, but you got to choose a primary. But I do think Kraken will get on a win streak, but who knows when the hell that will be. But it definitely shows you have to have depth in the NHL. You have to have big defensemen. Like if you look at Vegas's, shit, all their guys are like 6'5" to 6'8". Can we please get some of that on the Kraken? Like where every defenseman is just like big. I'm like, okay. And we need better, obviously, power play overall. And we need more guys that can score goals on a consistent basis. I feel like we only have one or two, and they don't even do it every game. So it's like some teams have like 8, where it's like it could be a number of 7 or 8 guys that could score in any game. Like Vegas. I want that. And we're a ways from that. That's why, like, I think that to model our team to Vegas's is perfect because they're young as well. They've had more success, but like, look how they're built. They have better and bigger defensemen than most teams in the NHL, and they have 7 or 8 guys that actually can score. That's incredible depth for a team that has only been in existence for a little bit. Pretty impressive, and got championships to show for it. Pitches inside, stolen bag. Oh, baby. I know. They're great, but the Stars are great too. I mean, I like what you guys have as well. I mean, I feel that with you guys have more depth also. It's more than just like Ottinger and a few guys. Like, I feel that you have at least 3 to 4 on any given night out of your top or 3 or 4 players that we saw in that playoff run in the regular season that could end up putting up not just 1 goal, but you got guys that could put up 2, sometimes even more than that. That's impressive. We don't have anybody that we can say, yep, that guy can get 2 goals in a game every few games. We don't even have one guy like that. Like, who's that guy going to be, Maddie? Like, we got to figure this shit out. 2-2 pitch. Wheeler. Pop foul. Yeah, not much older. But the thing is they're more successful and they're built for more long-term success, like the way that they're built. Like they got all of that so quickly, and then not only did they get it quickly, like they're doing crazy things when they're getting there. Hopefully one day we can model our team like that and we can have depth like that. Defensemen, incredible size and strength, good goaltending, and then have like 7 or 8 guys that could score 1 or 2 goals at any given game. But we're young, we're this is the 3rd year. Yeah, I think so too. If we can get a combination of Yamamoto, Ty, and Maddie, and then maybe even add a couple other players or draft or a couple years draft, maybe get a sleeper out of a draft, and then maybe free agent. Oh, come over here, Kraken. You release the Kraken with us, right? And we get a couple of those, then then maybe we can have. It all depends of what we want to be known as, like a defensive squad, or are we trying to bully you know, and have all the offensive pieces, or a little bit of both. I hope so, because I mean, even when I can't watch every single minute, because I'm bouncing around, it's just like it just irks me seeing them fucking lose so much this early. Yeah. And I'm not saying like Vegas is the perfect team. Every team, will have its run, like we saw with Patrick Waugh, and Sakic. Colorado was like really, really good, back when I was a kid or like in my early teens, and then all of a sudden they had kind of a drought, and then they got really, really good again, but maybe not as good as that. Like you can't replicate Sakic and Waugh. Like you could still win championships and you could still be good, but it won't be like that. Some guys are just, legendary. That's why the 80s and 90s is so precious. Like you see these players with like Gretzky and Lemieux and Hull and Patrick Waugh, and it's like I don't think. I mean, you got players now that are really, really good, but I think if you had the players that played in the 80s, 90s playing now, they'd be destroying these guys that are playing now. Like Sidney Crosby and Ovechkin are amazing, but if fucking Mario Lemieux and Brett Hull and fucking Wayne Gretzky are playing at the same time, do we really talk about Sidney Crosby that much and Ovechkin? Probably not. Are they mentioned? Yeah. Yarmir Yager and Chelios and stuff. I played the fucking video games. I watched a bunch. NHL 94 and 95 on the Genesis is still considered one of the best hockey games of all time. And then some of those NHL 2000s, 2001, 2002 on the PlayStation. I got one. I got one on the PlayStation or PlayStation 2 in my booklet. Yeah, pandemic didn't help, but we're still young. Maybe we should have not overachieved last year so we wouldn't hurt so much this year. Like maybe we should have been bad expansion team, got better record-wise, but didn't make the playoffs, and then maybe we make it this year, like a natural progression. Instead of like, oh, we suck, we're expansion team. Boom, look at us overachieve and even beat the Avalanche in Game 7. And then all of a sudden, year 3, all these expectations like the Mariners, and then fall short, like all on our faces. But I guess that's what we have to. I mean, being a Pacific Northwest fan, that's kind of our MO. It's like sometimes we get these like unexpected wins and W's, and then we don't know how to react to it. And then we expect that it's going to happen every year. And then that next year, where we're like, oh, Mariners made the playoffs, Kraken made the playoffs. Oh, we're going. Next 10, 15 years, playoffs. We're going to dominate. Mariners, Kraken. And then that next year, third year, or that second year in the supposed, dynasty for us, Mariners or Kraken, and then like we don't do good. We like kind of shit the bed. Like Mariners, what fucking happened? Inconsistency, batting 220, 230 for the first 100 games as a team. How the hell are you going to make the playoffs when you're batting 220, 230? And then the pitching sometimes is really good, but then also sometimes it's really bad. That's not the recipe to success. But I think it would have been better if we didn't make the playoffs last year and we made it this year. So we see a natural progression of going upwards. Something to look forward to. Shitty expansion team, better, won 20 or 30 more games. Boom, playoffs. And then, whatever happens, happens. But not expansion team, dog shit, just coming into the league, bad, right? But we have hope. And then, boom, playoffs. And not only that, we won against the Avalanche. Game 7, take that. Right? Losing the Stars. Who cares? But we made it. Right? And it's not like the Stars. I feel like last year, the way the momentum was going, they were better than us, but not by much. Like we would have lost in the next round, but I think that it was like we were not like as bad or inexperienced. Like the way they played last year, like they played like they've been there before. Like I feel like Dallas was better, but not by much. Like if we just had a little bit better goalie play and one more goal scorer last year, we would have beat Dallas or at least stretched it further, in my opinion. Go Kraken. Remember the time, Michael Jackson. Remember the time. 4-3 Red Wings. Come on, less than 2 minutes to go. Now we just have to pray that we can have it go to OT. But I mean, that's the thing. Like when you're not a very good team, right? And you can't barely get any goals. And then all of a sudden you have your explosion day, which is 3. Normally we're getting like 0, 1, 2, and then you get 3. You can't lose a game like that. You have to just find a way to be able to have the goalie step up a little bit or have, it's like we're not a team that's going to score 5 or more goals every night. Like a majority of, based on so far this season, it's like less than 5. So if you're getting 3, that's like in most people getting like 7. Like we need this 3. For the Kraken this year, it's like 6 or 7 to a good team. I hope they can, fucking force OT, but I doubt it now. I mean, less than 2 minutes to go. Alec Bohm, can he go for a home run again? The crowd decided to get into the game in the 7th inning. I thought you were going to be rowdy the whole game, right? Where is this energy right here? Should have been from the 1st inning, but instead, this is what I got for fucking 7 innings, and then you wonder why you're down 4-2. Because that guy on the left outplayed the guy on the right. Facts. Electric. Pitch is high, 1-2 count, and also the coach, the manager, not putting in Wheeler to start off the game or having someone better. No offense, to Ranger Suarez, but if you think about, the Phillies, even if you know who's on the roster or not, obviously Zach Wheeler's the best, Aaron Nola's second. He was shaky last year, better this year. If it's a game 7, how the fuck are you not starting Nola or Wheeler, even on short rest? I don't give a shit if they pitched the night before. That's going to be better, more than likely, than your 3rd, 4th, 5th, 6th best option. Like, no one ever said, oh, the Phillies are pitching in game 7. Oh, let's put in Ranger Suarez. Said fucking nobody ever. Like you're putting yourself in a position to lose right out of the gates because mentally, I don't think the fans or people thought they were going to be able to win with him in game 7. You're at home. You blew game 6. Now you need Bryce Harper to go 4 for 4 for you to win, and he goes 0 for 4. Too much pressure. Yeah, baby. There we go. See, the sports gods, they heard. They were like, oh, God. Like, we got fucking Megan and Orion are like depressed dogs. Like, I think we made them suffer too much. We punished them too much for not actually doing cracking games yet. Time to go to OT and win. What's the most goals, Megan, as our Kraken expert? What is the most goals? You can even look it up. It's fine. What is the most goals that we've scored this year out of all the games of being 0-4-1 to start off the season and being a bottom 4 team in the NHL? We will creep up. We will not be in the bottom 4 all year. Oh, I don't have it. I have fucking minimized it because I'm watching this. What color is it? I mean, if I was hacking, I was wearing the tie, I would do that Kraken blue. I would be wearing that color all the time. Fucking, I'd be wearing the Kraken fucking tie. A little logo on the bottom. That would be fire. Or have one that has like the logo, Kraken logo, little all over the tie, like a skater style or like the bandana. I like styles like that. Like back in the day in the 80s and the 90s and the early 2000s when you could get like little jumpsuits and like hoodies and it had like a little print, of whatever the design was all over the hoodie or jacket. Like sometimes you would see athletes or hip hop people, skaters that would wear them. I always thought that those were so fire, like especially depending on the brand and the style and the logo. Kraken, you hear me, sports gods? Okay, all right, I'll watch overtime, I promise. We got to get this dub. I mean, Megan is literally going insane every day. Kraken, lose. I mean, we got to get a dub. This is ridiculous. We've suffered enough. You can't go to the playoffs and then be a bottom 4 team. Like no one on planet Earth, no Kraken fan saw this coming. Like, you know what I mean? Like it's like maybe 500 ball. If we ended up, being like 3-1, a very, good surprise. Well, no one saw undefeated, but not 0-4-1. I mean, what did I do to you? Jeez, sports gods. I mean, why are you punishing me like that? Oh, I got it on now. Put it in theater mode, make it in the picture bigger. Ooh! We're going to get a Diamondback win, Corbin Carroll, MVP, okay? And then we're going to get a Kraken win. Who will it be? Bjorkstrand? Come on, Kraken. I don't even know who's out there. Who's out there for us? They need to do like the little hovering thing like NHL in the video games. You know, like I know some people don't like it because it looks like a video game, but it'll be much easier when they have the names pop up so I can see who's who, unless you know everyone by number. But depending on how big my screen is, sometimes I can't tell who is who. Sometimes, if you watch enough in sports, like with hockey and basketball, you can tell who they are by based off body shape. Like, oh, that guy's shoulders. Oh, I know who that is. You're like, oh, okay. Like, oh, that's LaMarcus Aldridge. Okay, like you can kind of have that vibe, but I'm not familiar with body shape of the Kraken players. I'm hardcore, but not that hardcore. Diamondbacks. Woo! If he tried to go top shelf right there, those jerseys are fire. Like I said, if I get a jersey, I'm getting that one. Like the white is just so fucking icy. And I like the white also too, because then you get that Kraken blue S and it pops. Nothing wrong with the dark jersey. I still would end up getting a dark jersey at some point too. But I always try to start off with the iciest one first, the swagger, and that's the white. Obviously, we know that's the road jersey, but I don't know, something about white jerseys in sports pop more than the colored one, because the colored one usually is the home one, and that's the one that's more common. More fans have it. So if you end up having the white one, that's like having kind of like a throwback and whatnot. So yeah, the thing is that if you're a sloppy eater, and I'll be at fault with that too. If I'm eating like a burger or dog, oh, I just got fucking relish and mustard and ketchup probably on it or whatnot. But game used, it's worth more money then, right? But I think that, yeah, I mean, it's one of those things where if you are, prone to accidents and tripping on yourself or spilling food, not the greatest, it's, especially trying to get the stains out of them. But I'm thinking from just a jersey perspective, white jerseys pop. They just do. More maintenance, and you have to be more careful. But in my opinion, white jerseys get more of a look from people because not only are they more rare, but they stand out more in a crowd. Because then you have the color with the white. So you have this like amazing bright white jersey, and then all of a sudden you got that color that pops off of it, that fucking Kraken blue, or a Buccaneer red, or a Chief red, or whatever, or if I got the Ducks, swag going on, like the green apple, that shit pops. I got plenty of love for the colored jerseys too, whether it be green or black or whatever, red. A bada bing, bada boom situation. Oh, I would. Trust me. And you'll look in the mirror and you'll know, right, that the white jersey is like, I hate these because I spill on them. But it's just from a fashion standpoint, white looks the best. You know what I mean? Like you get in a crowd of people and you got 9 people wearing the dark jersey, and then you got Megan there in the middle wearing the white. Oh, that shit pops. Because, like I said, you get a dark color and a dark color, that logo doesn't pop as much. But when you have white, and then all of a sudden you see like a blue outline, and boom, that like North Carolina blue, that Kraken blue, right up in your grill, right in the middle, of the chest area. Then you're like, ooh, shit! Like, look at that jersey. 4-2 Diamondbacks popped up. One away. Emmanuel Rivera popping up just like he did in this photo. Sweet tats, though. Can't really tell what they are, but next up, shortstop, Geraldo Perdomo. Zach Wheeler out of the game, should have started. And if you would have started on short rest, yeah, there's still a chance that you could have fucked up, right? But it's better to have your best guy out there to give you a chance instead of having a guy try to come in like catch up. Like, you want to be able to have your lead guy give you the lead and then go out. And then, it's not on him if you lose. He did everything, not putting in the guy late, when you're already down 2 runs. That's not ideal for any fucking pitcher. I don't care who it is. Like, oh, you're the number 1 pitcher for the team? Let me get you in there when you're down 4-2 in game 7, dummies. And that's an instance right there where I think the coaching aspect was a part of the loss. But also, too, if you were really good enough to win this series, you would have fucking put the nail in the coffin in game six because that's when it ended. It's not like game six was in Arizona, game six was in Philadelphia, right? You had an opportunity right there. Boom, bye, 3-2, we're up. It's over. You didn't do it. You choked. You let them back in. Right? And anytime you have a good or elite team, that's the underdog. No one believes in them besides them and their fan base. And then all of a sudden, you let that team creep and force that game seven, right? What happens? That momentum carries over, and Kraken win. What do you think about that? Defend the Kraken. See, we talked it into existence. That's what we do. We got to stick together as Mariner fans and Kraken fans. You feel me? You guys have Seahawks, and I'm not a part of that, but I still cover everyone, and I'm going to be rooting for you guys. And I'm very knowledgeable, even though I don't talk Seahawks every day, I know what's going on with the organization. I've been watching. Like I said, if you live in Oregon or Washington, the one thing that most people at least keep an eye on is Seahawk football, because that's the only thing that we have here. Blazers, Seahawk football, and then obviously we're Duck and Beaver people like through and through. That's what we claim. And then either you're a Seahawk fan that lives in Oregon or you have a connection to the Raiders, the Niners, or the Chargers somewhere in the Bay or like West Coast. And then if it's not that, then you have another type of reason why that you're not a fan of a team in the Pacific Northwest or in California. I mean, I wish that the Niners and the Seahawks had defensive players when I was a kid. Otherwise, I could keep it all in the family. Kraken, Hawks, Seahawks, if it was that route. But Joe Montana, Jerry Rice were special. Largent was special. Cortez Kennedy was special. But the personality was a big part of it for me. Meshing with the Derek Brooks, the John Lynch, the Warren Sapp, the Simeon Rice, the Rondé Barber, the Mike Allstott. That's like 100% my personality. So it was very, easy at that point, especially watching Florida football too, with Jaquez Green, Rydell Anthony, Ike Hilliard, and Danny Warfel. That was probably the most fun that I remember watching college football and like really being excited to watch Florida State. That was fun. Work done, Charlie Ward. Like when Florida State actually was good, when the U was actually good, when Florida was actually good. Big base hit. Perdomo. Yeet. We got it. We talked it into existence. Boom shakalaka. Reflect with a threer. Jake says the Timbers. Bang, 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 boom, boom, boom. Bang, bang. $3 holla. And the thing about the Timbers and even the Thorns, thank you so much, Reflect. Let me know what you want to do for photos, and I got you. You want some Joey Cora or some like old school Dave Valley, you let me know. I got you. Or you can even go more popular like Tino Martinez or John Olerud. But even with the Pilots, Timbers, the Thorns, like when you're seeing some of like the other things that we have in the Pacific North, like they've won actual championships in the Pacific Northwest. Like that's kind of cool, I don't care if it's women's or men's, you know what I mean, getting it done, but just to like, hey, we won championships. Like you're doing it at many levels. And even though the soccer fan base is huge, it doesn't get talked about enough in Oregon and Washington. Sounders, Timbers, Thorns. I know I may not be watching soccer too boring for me unless I'm watching World Cup or if it's like Ronaldo or Messi. Yeah, but I'm not as big of a fan where I'm like dropping everything to watch, a bunch of guys run around forever and nothing happens. Like I guess if I had a favorite team and favorite players, I would be more dedicated, but I already have like 10 billion things that I'm already following that to make it, a 10 billion in one, it would have to be a pretty special thing. And I just never really had a soccer influence growing up. So, but not hating on soccer fans. They're some of the most intelligent and passionate, people. I mean, globally, it's the number one sport, in the world. So just, it's not on my priority list unless it's World Cup. But if it's World Cup, I get excited. Like I used to play World Cup in video game, like, World Cup 98 and a bunch of the others past that, EA Sports. And Brazil was my shit back in the day with like Ronaldo. Man, Ronaldo and Rivaldo, anything with a dough at the end. But I mean, pre-Pele, So you had Pele, and then the run that they had. I mean, Brazil for in the 90s, early 2000s. I mean, there was no touching them. They were insane. Yeah, we already know the two teams. Yeah, it's Vegas and Seattle. Yeah, and that's the two teams and areas that I would put a team. And if I didn't do Vegas, I would do Nashville. Bill Swift. Good choice. Yeah, we did it. I'm not sure if it was hack. I think it was reflect Megan and oh doggy dog. We willed that shit. The sports gods listen. They're like, you know what? Yeah, we're gonna get the dub for them. ESP all day, every day. You just got to talk it into existence. And then if you're selected, as a chosen one or a time traveler, then you say it, and then it comes true. And then boom shakalaka. Then we're right, and then we win money. And then we're good at fantasy and predicting and betting. ESP, Tony Romo, who 4-2 Diamondbacks. Good job, Kraken. Good job, Hack. Good job, people in the room. We willed that shit. And then sometimes there's like an eye test. I feel like when you watch sports and you've been watching it for a long time, you can predict momentum. You don't have to be like some kind of crazy film guru and reader like me. Sometimes like you've seen a situation, even though the team may be new to the situation, like in a big moment, like the flow of the game. Like if you've ever played sports competitively, sometimes you just get into like this null where you're just going through the motions. And when you go through the motions and you're not really getting full effort from yourself or the team, sometimes things get lackadaisical and things get predictable. And I feel that if you watch sports long enough, you can predict these moments, like if a team is actually going to come back or if they're not. Sometimes the unexpected happens. You're like, oh my God, Joe Carter, home run, they won, but sometimes it's like you feel that Uncle Mo with a Corbin Carroll, or you don't feel the Uncle Mo with a Bryce Harper. Corbin Carroll coming good. Yeah, I'll get you some here in just a second. When Messi came to Dallas, 8 bills, 8 racks. Golly. I'm starting to realize like how crazy the Swifties are since they're just like taking over our sport, the NFL, right? But like how much people pay for Taylor Swift tickets, like adults and kids. Like it's insane how much money she makes off her tours. But I guess if you have 100 million of anything, if you're 100 million or more in anything you do, yeah, you are mega, mega, mega. I mean, you can't even, you're in another category. A Bill Swifty. Get Swifty. Get Swifty. That reminds me, I need to watch some more Rick and Morty. But then the one guy got in trouble, so they don't even have the same Rick anymore. It's like another guy doing the voice now because he fucking was being a very suspect individual. Not while he always has been kind of like South Park guys, kind of pushing the boundaries. And sometimes when you say fucked up shit in posts or in real life, then it carries over to your private life, and you're like, God, you're not a very good person. You don't treat people very good, and then you get fired. Back to back Ks. Bottom of the ninth. Seawald's coming in, so guess what's going to happen? We're going to shut it down. Okay? And then the phrase comes out, smoke them. And that only comes out when the Mariners, when we know it's game over, we're confident, and we know that the guy's going to get it done. Now, every once in a while, you get the smoke them from me, and it'll fail, and I'll take that L. But most of the time, we'll have that feeling, and it's not like we're just biased. It's like we've seen it. We know this, right? He'll fuck up, but if you really be honest about it, he might have been our most reliable, consistent piece all year, compared to anybody. So prepare to see some fucking flames, baby. Right here, electricity. We're going to see it, and you're going to get a chance to lose to the Rangers in the World Series. But you know what? If they take that series to 7 games, everyone is going to know Seawald, Corbin Carroll. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's going to take that franchise to heights that we haven't seen. Like, if they get swept, people, oh, look, you know, oh, Rangers in 4. Yeah, they're real good. But, like, if we could get 7 in the World Series, I don't know. I think at this point in sports, when a team surpasses expectations, sometimes they can even go a little further than anyone ever could think. I don't think anyone on planet Earth had this series going 7 games. Astros and Rangers, yes, that's the number one prediction. What's that going to go? 7. You know, and then if you really like a team and you're biased, like you're a Ranger fan, 6. Astro fan, 6. Right? Or if you're super cocky and stupid, Astro fan, 4. We're just going to sweep them. Yeah, that's not happening. But I think most people were like, okay, I know it's going to most likely. But I figured Phillies in 6. This fucking Arizona winning in 7. Pretty crazy. Seawall, man. It's that Mariner connection. Sports gods are trying to make us happy. You know, they're like, okay, we see what you're doing. We see what you root for. You know, try not to be biased. Keep it moving. Right? Pacific Northwest. You know, there's a lot of pain and struggle, but that's what makes us tough out here. You know, that we're not fair weather, we're not bandwagon. We can endure the worst storms with our teams, and we're still going to be fucking louder than most people. You know, that root for a team that might be 90% win percentage. It's like, you know, we're not going to act any different. We're still going to ride or die for our teams, even when we suck. That's the difference between the Pacific Northwest fans and people from the Midwest and the East and the South. Sometimes if you live in those other regions, I feel, you know, you're expected this greatness every year. And then some of the fans, they're not as loyal or passionate. But with us, like when we lose, but we can see the hope, like it almost makes us stronger, I feel, as a fan base. Let's fucking go. Ride the wave. Ian Reflect may not agree. We may have to agree to disagree to agree sometimes, and that's only natural. You know, we're not the same person. Bang, bang. But one thing that we do agree on, Paul Sewall, kind of good. Boom. So if the sports gods know that, then we won. Show them the smoke. Appreciate you. 50 doll hairs. 50 doll hairs to go. That's what makes it good. You know, we can have good conversation. No one's ever going to agree with everyone all the time. Everyone's going to have their own opinion. I just try to throw shit out there because like I said, I feel I have more of like a female brain than a male brain, a little bit more empathy and sympathy. Try to put myself in the shoes of the ownership, the GM, the head coach, the play caller, and then I try to pretend I'm them. How would I do it if I was them? You know, if I could get in their head. And if you can go deep like that, you know, what would it be like to be this player, that player? I don't think people go that deep, but also I feel like I do that because if I wasn't doing this, I would be a teacher or mentor, boys and girls club therapist, psychologist, like trying to go deeper, reading people, helping if I can, not by giving advice, but just listening. Worst thing you could do is tell someone what to do when they come to you with open, sensitive shit. Popped up. Corbin, baby. 2 outs away from the World Series, baby. And that's how sports go. You know, when you're presented a moment to be able to take advantage of a moment, right? You have that one moment to walk through that door to make history, which was Game 6 for Philadelphia at home with that crowd. You failed. So this was never going to be a possibility. You lost your opportunity, and this team is fucking good. They actually play better on the road than at home, in my opinion. I actually like the way the Diamondbacks, because they're focused, and they don't let the crowd affect them. Cheering, booing, they give no fucks. They're just confident. You know, they have that confident swagger, and then the star players they have such this good maturity about them. Seawald, Corbin Carroll, beyond his years. You have guys like that. People feed off that shit. They feed off that fucking leadership and that energy. You know, there's natural born leaders and there's followers, you know, and people that are followers that try to become a leader, you know, but certain guys, it's just fucking in their DNA. Yeah, no Phillies. And like I said, you know, you have to understand what the team needs. Like the Philly crowd needed to be electric from inning 1 to inning 9 if they were going to even have any chance to fight that Uncle Mo and that momentum. You let a team hang around too long, and then they had the momentum, and they didn't leave. Uncle Mo slept over. They were in the hotel with Arizona. He never left. He unpacked. So, and it was the bad decision by not starting a better pitcher than Ranger Suarez. No one on Philadelphia, planet Earth, said, "Okay, Game 7, we got one guy to win us to get to the World Series." Ranger Suarez said, "No one ever." Pitches outside, 2-2 count. Michael in the building. Fly, Eagles, fly. Kevin Byard, how you doing? Keep it moving. I like the depth. Depth. Deppth. Depth. Marsh popped up. He got it. Bang. 2 away. And every team that has played the Brewers in the playoffs in the last 15 to 20 years has won and gone on to go to the World Series. And again, it happens. If you play the Brewers at any point in baseball, we need to start betting on this to become millionaires so that way we can be rich. Sometimes history tends to repeat itself, and no matter how ridiculous it sounds, if it happens, it's going to happen again until the sports gods say no, and it happened again. How you doing? Keep it moving. That's how people that bet money win. They pay attention. And when you see crazy shit that happens, sometimes you got to pull the trigger. National Tight Ends Day, if you're going to make a bet on a parlay, that's the number one day to make money. You could put a $10 bet, pick 5 tight ends. You might get one wrong. The other 4 are going to hit. And then if you do that, you might win $4,000. How you doing? Keep it moving. Okay? These are, pieces of advice. Like if you're not even a gambling man or woman, you do it that one day. That's the day that you could come up big. Pay $10, $20, make the bet, pick 5 tight ends, tight end day. They're going to score. They're going to be looking there, and you might be able to win, like $2 to $4,000, even off a $10 or $20 bet. That sounds good to me. How about y'all? Write that down. We're all going to make the bet next year on National Tight End Day. And you always come down to that one guy that's going to be like 50-50. Will he do it or not? Like a Gerald Everett. Is he going to get the tutty or is it going to be a Cole Kmet? And you just have to make sure you choose the right guy. 1-1 pitch. Chop foul. 1 strike away. Baby. Michael in the building. Fly, Eagles fly high. The bottom of the 9th, 4-2 Diamondbacks. Oh, baby, this guy's kind of good. So is this guy. Fighting it. Final! Diamondbacks 4, Phillies 2. Four, two, 4-2. Seawald. And the Diamondbacks are going to the World Series, and only fitting Corbin Carroll gets the out. And some guys, you remember moments in sports, right? And if you're watching this won't be the last time that we see the Diamondbacks in this position, right? And sometimes you have to look on what creates the energy for the team and the individuals they have, right? So everyone thought Corbin Carroll was a good player. Now we have to start putting Corbin Carroll in the elite factor because not only is he good on offense and defense, he's like a Julio but more clutch, that he has an opportunity to do something that Julio has not even got a chance to do yet, is actually fight for a World Series and possibly win as the supreme Cinderella underdog. Like, how we have Cinderella stories and we usually have like 50 over like maybe 5 to 10 year period. Like how many actually come true and Cinderella gets that slipper that fits at the end? One? Like one fucking team out of like 50 Cinderellas actually does it? Could this be the Cinderella that beats the Rangers? They actually have a pretty good matchup with the Rangers, like playing them. Like I think they match up pretty well. Popular team, shit the bed, right? But we have to start acknowledging the greatness of Corbin Carroll, like realizing that offense, defense, he's wise beyond his years. He's got it before Julio. Julio's more popular, right? You'll have his like shoe and video games and all this and that. But Corbin Carroll is more clutch. I want clutch. I love Julio, but I like this, you know? So Ketel Marte, former Mariner. How you doing? Keep it moving, right? I like that. I like that. Corbin Carroll from Seattle, Pacific Northwest. I like that. I like that. Paul Sewald, Mariners, Diamondbacks, Mariners, Diamondbacks, Mariners, Diamondbacks. I like that. But I would assume that most people on the line would say Rangers and 6. That's going to be the most popular bet because I got ESP and that's what it would be. Because we're giving respect to the Diamondbacks. We don't think it's going to be a 4-1 because Corbin Carroll and that team is so good. But 2 is where it caps out. But that's what we said about this series. So maybe the Diamondbacks can win 3, possibly 4. So if that's the case, then maybe we get a game 7 with the Rangers and the Diamondbacks when some people think it's going to be, 6 games, Rangers, maybe 5. Like if the Rangers win in 5, I don't think people would be shocked. They're badass, right? Rangers at 6, most common, giving respect to the other team, but just not as good. But what if this Diamondback team can win 3 or 4? And if that's the case, then this could go 7. Oh, baby. He's got the mustache. He's got the look. I mean, he looks like a substitute teacher, plumber, wise man. It's my dude. He's special. He's got really good character too. He's a really good character guy. And I like guys that are character guys that read, guys that are really caring individuals, towards family and teammates. When you see shit like that, then that shit rubs off onto the other players, and then you get greatness. Greatness on the right last year, greatness on the left this year. Sour in the building. It's all God. Paul C. Wahone. And like I said, when you feel the momentum, I'm not going to be right all the time, but I feel like most of the time, if I feel it, I'm going to be like 90 to 95% right. Like it just, the ESP, the gods, they give me the info. I say it, boom. Like this game was already over before it started. Paul C. Wahone. He looks better in the Mariner uniform. It doesn't matter. You can be, a Fugazi best regular season team in the NHL, NFL, NBA, MLB, right? 100, 120 wins, whatever, right? But then if it comes down to the team that's hot and healthy and they have 85 to 90 wins, they could go all the way. And it's, just like a wild card team, in NFL going all the way. Joe Flacco, quarterback in the team and not throwing a pick in the whole entire playoffs like some fucking crazy shit, right? It happens. Seawald. Diamondbacks, they're kind of good. Good job, Diamondbacks. You're going to the World Series. Gang. I like being a part of history too. Let's go, baby. Red Wings go down. That's Preston's team. Kraken, baby. Sports God, they listen. They're like, okay, these guys have suffered enough. 0-4-1. What were we thinking? Like they're not going to notice that they're 0-4-1. Yes, we noticed. And only fitting that we ended up getting the dub on the road. That's exactly what I would want. Getting at home too easy. We need to feel that adversity, but don't let us suffer too long. Like sometimes you got to give us one. We got 3 goals today, which is equivalent to other teams like getting 7. There's no way in hell we're losing today. We're making sure we're getting that dubba, and we did. Rangers, Diamondbacks, Friday, game 1. Your boy, you'll see me. Let's go. Swag, 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 swag. Look at those swaggy jerseys. Golly. Like, how could you not go up to that person and be like, nice jersey? It'd be impossible for me. I'm always that guy too. I see you at the grocery store or something, I don't know who the fuck you are. Hey, nice jersey. You know, I see like a Bo Jackson throwback, Mitchell and Ness from like the Raiders or Barry Sanders. Do I say something to that guy? Yes, I do. Dark swag, white swag, the dark swag. That white though, pop, pop, pop. That S with that blue, boom, shakalaka, fire, 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 fire. I need me one of them. I'm just looking at the little summary. McCann, nice. Eberly. 5-4. I mean, so that's what we said we were going to do, right? Sometimes you got to talk that shit. And sometimes the sports gods will like listen, but sometimes it'll go further. So it's like, oh, I want this at this moment, but then you have to go like one more run for each team and then, or one more goal, and then it ends. Like, oh, we wanted to win it in regulation, but like, no, we have to make it extra dramatic for you, understanding how terrible you've been this year. 0-4-1, bottom 4 team. How about we win 5-4 in OT instead of just straight up in the third period? So that way you sweat it out a little bit. Thank you, sports gods. The D-backs are going to the World Series. How cool is that? That gives hope for the Mariners that we could do it, or the Orioles could do it, or the Blue Jays can do it. And I guarantee if you have any fan that is an Oriole fan or a Blue Jay fan, that's exactly what they're saying, because we compare very close to the Diamondbacks. Diamondbacks, Mariners, Orioles, Blue Jays, we are the same. So if they can do it, and if we spend money, get some different pieces, maybe we can do it. But the best part about the whole thing is that we saw a player enter superstardom now. Like, you knew how good he was, but then this is his breakout game and moment. Now everyone knows that this guy is like one of the most clutch players, and he's way beyond his years. If he stays healthy, I mean, we're talking first ballot Hall of Fame, no question. Playing at a high level, they believe. And like I said, the main part of the team and why they're so successful, this is first part, right? And this is the other part. You got those two people and they're clicking. How are you beating that? Like, you better put up a shitload of runs. I'm excited, man. It's going to be fun. Definitely, Rangers are going to be favored as the heavy underdog. But I mean, it's just like if the Mariners ever go to the World Series, we're going to be the underdog. No one is going to choose the Mariners to win when we make it. So very cool. All right. You guys have a good one. I need to spend some time with Paisley, probably go exercise, even though I know it's been raining quite a bit and whatnot. Any last minute photos by anybody that you guys want? Let me know. Type it in the chat, and let me know if there's anything else that you guys would like to see. I got some reading to do. I got some more games to watch. I got to exercise, eat dinner, and whatnot. So I appreciate everyone that donated, commented, shared. You guys are the best. I love you, and I appreciate you. And we got the dub. We talked it into existence. How awesome is that? and sometimes that happens. They kind of felt like it was going to happen. And so if I feel like it's going to happen, then I say it and we talk about it and we can, have some good mojo. Sometimes that's all the sports gods need to hear, that we've suffered enough and we need to know what it feels like to win. Like we went from expansion to playoffs, not to being a bottom 4 team in the NHL. Can we have a little joy today? Can we have a little joy? And he said, yes, you can have the joy. And then we got it in that OT. So awesome. Well, I love you guys, and I appreciate you guys very, very much. Thank you to everyone that donated, commented, shared, that watched on Twitter/X, as well as on YouTube. You guys are the GOATs. I love you. And I got one question for you. Who talk sports like us? Your boy Ryan, Northwest Sports Fanatics, and I'm out.